The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
So it's Tuesday, right?
Tuesdays are my favorite days.
That means Wednesday's coming.
Make no mistake about it, Sid Vicious is bad to the bone.
Two-time WWE champion, Psycho Sid!
This is the guy that invented being psycho.
Never have I seen anyone with the credentials the size of that man.
Then see him come out with his eyes wide open.
One of the most imposing big men you ever met in your life.
Jeff Jarrett just clocked Scott Hall with the guitar.
I can't believe
he's going to put Sid on top of Hall. What's the story here?
I don't know. And look at the fans. They can't believe 1, 2, Sid Vicious.
Machismo is getting the better of him. To finish it, Sid just may finish it. If Sid hits it, it's over. We got a new champion.
Christ. Psycho Sid checked out, huh?
That's too bad.
Welcome to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show, broadcasting here on a stormy Tuesday morning. We're big television wrestling fans around here, and we're sorry to report the passing of longtime WWF and WCW. What's the other company that was in business for a while?
WCW. Yeah.
Former champion Sid Vicious, a.k.a. Psycho Sid, a.k.a. Sid Justice. He's passed on. At only 63.
Too young to go, but it seems like for a wrestler of that generation, he's doing all right. You know?
I was having the same conversation with friends yesterday, Josh.
Yeah, kind of right in that wheelhouse.
Yeah. It's too young for the average person, but wrestlers, for whatever reason, it seems they pass way too young.
My damn. Yeah, he hit 63. Cancer got him. Boy, he was a big, blown-up, intimidating character.
You guys know my wife is a huge fan of, the 80s, early 90s wrestling and stuff like that. And yesterday we're walking into a school orientation for my youngest, and I told her, I'm like, oh no, did you hear Sid Vicious? And she had to stop for a second and compose herself before we went in. She was just destroyed. Anytime something like this happens to one of those wrestlers that she grew up really liking.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He sold the heel character very well. He never looked happy.
Oh, God, no.
He was a cool-looking dude.
Even when he won the titles, he never looked happy.
No.
When he was holding it, nope.
No, he looked pissed off in every possible scenario or situation, to where when I watched the man many, many years ago, I was convinced, okay, this guy hates what he does for a living. He really never looked happy.
Because you see that look on the faces of a lot of employees in this building. And so, of course, it's going to make sense that that's exactly how he's feeling.
Famous for one of the most brutal injuries ever in any sport, Sid Vicious. His effing leg snapped like a damn tree branch.
Yuck.
I don't know. Was this a pay-per-view? Was this I know it was a... Was it a pay-per-view, or was it a Raw? I think he was with WCW at the time. A regular program or a pay-per-view?
I don't think it was a pay-per-view.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Can someone look that out? I want to say I believe that this was televised or a pay-per-view. It wasn't a house show. It wasn't video that somebody came up with, a private movie. This was televised.
Looks like it was at a Starrcade.
There you go. So it was a pay-per-view.
So it was a WCW pay-per-view.
WCW pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. If you're the type who can handle those types of videos, I'll be damned, it's one of the nastiest you'll ever see. He's up on the I don't know, maybe the second rope, and he's about ready to do some kind of super kick, and when he came down, his leg just said, I don't want to be involved in this anymore. His leg snapped like a pretzel, and the poor bastard had to gut it out until they're able to drag him out of the ring. Man. I don't know. Have you watched that before, Josh?
Yeah. I just watched it last night. I hadn't
you
seen
did?
It before, right?
God dang. Wasn't it Scott Steiner?
Yeah.
Yep.
Scott Steiner was in there, and I think Steiner was the one who, I mean, not that it wasn't completely obvious that a man's leg has been broken in half terribly, but Scott Steiner, I think, was the one who, gave everyone the signal, hey, we got to get the hell out of here, and put the pin on Sid just to get the match over with and get him to a hospital, for God's sake.
It was Sid, Scott Steiner, Jeff Jarrett, and Road Warrior Animal in a four corners match for the title.
Sure. That's a hell of a gathering right there.
Mm-hmm.
Many, many years ago, when Josh was there, when I defeated Jimmy Hart, right in the middle of a WCW ring, live here at Minneapolis, Target Center, defeated Jimmy Hart, which brought my overall professional wrestling record to 3-0. I had past victories at First Avenue over characters like Ken Anderson and The Hater. Local hero of mine, The Hater. When I defeated Jimmy Hart, the original plan was that Jeff Jarrett was going to get involved. When we were working this out backstage, I was working it out with Jimmy Hart. Gregory Helms was part of the pre-match.
Someone who was going to get called Slapnuts.
Right. Pre-match, what's the word I'm looking for?
Vignette.
Conversation, I guess, is where I'll go with that. We're talking about what we'd like to do in the match. And originally, Jeff Jarrett was going to be involved. And when his name came up, I said, okay, if Jeff Jarrett's involved, I want him to break his acoustic guitar over my head.
That would be such an honor.
I need that to happen. If Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff wasn't in the room, but I said, if he's going to be part of it, I need to take a guitar shot to my friggin' stupid head. Mm-hmm. And they, Hart and Helms said, that's not going to happen. And I was very disappointed.
Do they pre-weaken those things? Like in the movies, they'll weaken a table if they're going to throw someone through it or whatever?
Or they have those kind of fake glass bottles that they break over people's heads?
I don't know if it's pre-weakened or what you might call it.
Or I can't even imagine how much that would hurt. If it was
thinner wood or something.
Yeah, it
made
certainly,
to break.
Yeah.
Certainly comes apart a lot. So I never got that guitar shot to the skull. Also, Sid Vicious, famous for bumbling a promo or two.
He wasn't great on the mic.
And do you guys know the one I'm thinking of? I was hoping maybe someone could find this. I'm sure you can find this on YouTube. And I want everyone to know that I'm not trying to make fun of a man for passing, or to kick a man when he's down or whatever term you might use. All wrestling fans, and even Sid Vicious's biggest fans would admit and celebrate now. The guy had some adventures on the mic. And the one that comes to mind is, this must have been when he moved on to the WWF, and I'm sure you can find this on YouTube. He's cutting a promo with D-Generation X. Maybe it wasn't DX, but it was Big Sexy. Give me his name again.
Mark Henry?
No, Big Sexy.
Oh.
Kevin Nash.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you guys were wrestling fans. Kevin Nash and I think X-Pac. He's cutting a promo with those guys, and he screwed up his line. He was supposed to say, I've got more brains in my little pinky than you two have in your heads. But instead, he said, you guys have more brains in your little pinky than I have in my head. He reversed it somehow out of nerves or something like that. And if you watch the video, Kevin Nash and X-Pac are laughing so hard they don't even continue on the promo. And Vicious, of course, looks furious with himself because he knows he showed the promo. I'm surprised you guys aren't familiar with that.
No, I never saw that one.
See if you can find that because that's fun. So there you go. I mean, the guy was a long-time great performer. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more if you were your Sid. He got to have rivalries with Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, Sting. These are things that a lot of wrestlers would have only dreamed about.
Wasn't he kind of a muscle man for the Four Horsemen, too?
Yep. I don't remember.
That's what I thought.
I'm going to have to go along with it. wrestled all the way up until 2017, it says here in front of me, so he kept her going. Got a wife and a couple of kids. Our condolences to the friends and the family of Sid.
He's got a kid named Gunner. That's who announced the death. Gunner.
Gunner's a cool name.
That is a cool name. You're a badass if your name is Gunner. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
The only Gunner
You
I've ever met
be.
was super badass.
The only Gunner you ever met was super badass?
Yeah, he was awesome. He was a foreign exchange student from, I believe it was Germany, somewhere over there. But
Well, then are you sure it wasn't Gunther?
it was Gunner.
Or Gunnar?
Yeah, that kid could drink.
Well, the Germans are kind of known for that, aren't they, Cubby?
Drinking? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I think. Have you ever heard of Oktoberfest? That's pretty big over there.
I'll be damned. Oh, man, what else is going on? We're not done with the douching just yet.
That was something last night.
Oh, yeah. My goodness.
There's a fresh batch of thunderstorms rolling through town right now, and then we'll go back to some comfortable temperatures. But, yeah, last night was a keeper.
That was one of those where we decided we're just going to stand out in the garage and watch this for a little bit. And that was awesome.
Yeah, everything just turned orange, and I'm like, all right, I'm going outside.
Yeah, it went from green to orange.
Yep. There's some real Ghostbusters 2 vibes in the sky. It was kind of eerie.
And it was one of those where the thunder just never stopped. It was just a constant thing. The lightning was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah,
that was quite the show. Saw a double rainbow. A lot of people still without power, unfortunately, and they had to shut down the fair last night.
Yeah, we plugged our phones in because we don't know how much longer we're going to have electricity, so let's get these things charged up.
So, I saw that there were a handful of exhibits and buildings that just smooth closed the doors at the fair.
Well, they shut the doors last night. So if you were there, you could stay, but they weren't letting anybody else in. They shut down the majority of it. They canceled last night's concert.
Oh, the Turtles.
Yeah.
no.
Do it.
The Turtles and the Cowsills.
Yeah, the Happy Together tour was anything but last night, unfortunately.
Those old-timers were probably pretty pumped when they heard Showtime was canceled.
Get a night off?
You know, I mean, it was hotter than hell. I mean,
that sucked.
So disgusting.
The folks in the Turtles and the Cowsills and whatnot, I bet they were praying for some kind of cancellation last night, and they got it, so. So, yeah, I'm not the guy to deliver the weather eloquently on this year radio show. That's Wapple's job. He drops a weather update on us now and again. Sounds like a fifth grader that's been asked to read aloud in front of the class for the very first time, every time. But you'll get your weather information, won't you, Wapple?
Oh, yes, you will.
You'll look it up.
I remembered in school when we would have to play popcorn. God, I hated that.
What's that?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, that sucks.
Reading around the class?
Is that the popcorn trick? I've heard of that.
Yeah, you've done that to me a couple times, Josh. I fall for it every time.
It's the only reason I like to go to movies with you.
Yeah, so like you'd have to read a book in class, and so you'd read a couple lines, and then you'd go popcorn, and then you would call someone in the class, and then they would have to continue reading, and everyone's like, don't pick me, don't pick me, don't pick me.
Would the kids pick on you?
Oh, yeah.
Would they just keep going back to you?
Thinking about that now that I'm older, that's actually so messed up for the kids that weren't good at reading. That must have been the most anxious situation they could have ever been put in.
You got to suck it up.
Whole class is laughing at them
Especially when I couldn't say my R's and L's and we had to do the popcorn thing. I had a bad speech impediment for a few years there. I kind of still do, to be honest with you.
You can't say your INGs.
What? I've never noticed anything different about your delivery.
This is a big confession. I'm glad you guys are sitting down for that.
See, but like Josh said, it's the and I've already made this known on our program. It's the INGs in that room that drives me crazy.
You guys refuse to say them. Refuse.
You know, yesterday Dana walked in here. Yesterday Dana walked in here before the show started and said, "Well, because at the end of yesterday's show, we had the wonderful people from Howie's Mud Bog stop by and tell us about their big event coming up this weekend. But before the show started yesterday, we didn't know if they were coming in. We weren't certain what time they were coming in, and it wasn't Howie's fault. It was our own." Somebody or another here in the building was supposed to give us some information, and it never got to us. So there was this big question mark before the show started. Are we going to talk to Howie's or not? And Dana walks into our room, and he says, well, I don't know if this Howie's Mudbog thing is happening. I've been emailing and texting, and we still haven't heard from them. And, It just makes my skin crawl.
Would you say it was frustrating?
It was. It was maddening.
Was it maddening?
All three of you in there. Can you get together some weekend? Hey, we got a long weekend coming up. It's Labor Day. Can the three of you get together and just practice your INGs for the love of Christ?
Hey, Dr. Pete checked me out. He said I'm tongue-tied, so that's why. It's an actual medical condition.
You're what?
Tongue-tied.
We are very annoying.
It takes practice. That's all it takes.
Yeah, it does get better, but I have to actually think about it before, and then it throws
think
out
about
the
it.
sentence.
Try it.
And there's a pause.
What the hell were we talking about? How did we get on this subject?
We were talking
Popcorn.
Popcorn reading.
Oh, reading in class.
Yeah, reading in class.
Well, you said it there. You said your ING.
Reading.
Reading.
No, you went back.
Yeah, you did well the first time.
Oh, see, now, because I wasn't thinking about it. Now I feel like I have the yips.
He wasn't thinking about it. You have to read between the lines. When you look back, you guys were just saying, that was kind of cruel to the kids in your first grade class. I don't know this game, so I don't know what age you might have been playing this game. You were saying it was kind of cruel. Must have been really anxious moments for these kids in class who couldn't read. But you have to think back and read between the lines. Some of these tasks that we were asked to perform when we were in grade school, I think it wasn't so much set up to teach you to read, although that was the end goal. It was to teach you to suck it up and to teach you to have some balls. You know what I'm saying?
Possibly.
That's the way I look at it.
I have no idea.
That's the way I look at it.
So last night we're at this orientation for school, and one of the teachers, it's like, a lot of schools now are kind of all open, right? Versus when we were young, it was just like each room, it was a hallway and then rooms, right? So one of the teachers kind of next to us, I think he was pissed off. Like there's a couple different, you kind of walk the classes, right? And you have a few minutes, each class, the teacher does a little presentation, and then you move on to the next one. So we kind of went to either side of this guy, and a buddy of mine and his kid were in a couple of my son's classes. And we even looked at each other like, is he mad? Is he furious that he's back to work? He was so loud and so angry sounding, it was kind of hilarious. I couldn't hear anything either teacher was saying that we were supposed to be because he was just screaming.
Well, maybe he doesn't want this.
Oh, I don't think so. And he was like laying down the law too, right?
He doesn't want the gig anymore, and he's not happy to be back.
Nah, he mentioned he'd been doing it for a long time.
I mean, like we were talking about a few days ago, we were all wondering, why in God's name, when we were in junior high, were we forced to take, what's the dance again?
Square dancing?
Square dancing.
Why were we forced to take square dancing? If we were going to be taught to dance, why was it my school, your school, everybody's school? It was square dancing. That's so odd. Well, if you read between the lines, like I said a few days ago, it wasn't so much learning to square dance. It was learning to be comfortable with the opposite sex. So I think when you look back at some of these classes where you had to read aloud and the pressure was on you to perform in front of a crowd, I think it wasn't so much, hey, let's see if this kid sucks at reading or not. It was kind of teaching you to, step up and take a chance.
Well, I think a lot of schools like that, right? It's a combination. Mm-hmm. You're learning a few things at once, hopefully.
Yeah, that's why everyone had to take speech class. So you had to give at least 5, 3-minute long speeches.
Well, where were you when those classes were happening?
Oh, I killed them. Crushed them.
You did?
Yeah.
What was
I remember I did one on Gene Wilder, and I did in the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when he walks out, his cane gets stuck and he does the roll.
Did you do that?
I did that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I started my speech,
Wapple.
and I was outside the hallway, started the speech to open the door.
Were your classmates laughing? Were they enjoying this?
They loved it. Then the speech teacher came up to me afterwards, and he's like, hey, you should join our comedic speech team. And I'm like, nah.
What is
so that was more of a performance than necessarily the quality of a speech. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. You played to your strengths?
I jazzed it up.
Because I do think, and not to rip on you, I do think there's a difference, right? Where there's times you might be listening to someone speak and like Benchwarmer Bob. He's hilarious, but he is such a good speaker. He didn't need a cane or anything like that for comedy. He's just so good at speaking.
You made up for your lack of skills in the speech department by By using some physical comedy.
Yeah,
which is genius on your part.
100%.
You just do a little pratfall in front, or like, oh, look at that, and everybody's already on your side. It doesn't matter what you say after that.
That kind of thing, it gave Chevy Chase a career.
Yeah,
it did.
quite a few comedians.
Yeah,
right?
quite a few comedians.
Yep.
Okay, speaking of all this, I'm so not used to this because in my world, I always thought school started after Labor Day, but I thought somebody was saying on the television news last night that schools are starting now.
Some of them, yeah.
Yep.
What about your son, Josh? More importantly, my godson.
Tomorrow.
Oh, God.
Tomorrow's day one.
What a drag. What a drag for the kids. But you got to be excited to get that peckerhead away from you for a little while.
Oh, I don't mind being around him.
Oh.
I was excited for him. You know, I was, yesterday I'm thinking, man, this was a blast. A lot of people not love it. My wife feels differently. She didn't like middle school. I love middle school. Best time of my life, probably.
Middle school was very
Middle school
fun.
was awesome.
Not much responsibility yet in the world.
Oh, you didn't have too much homework. You could get it done in class.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
Maybe we can talk more about the young people later on in the program.
I always thought that was illegal, though, to start school before the state fair ended.
It is illegal.
It should be.
It's weird. It's, new.
It's on.
Well, at least it's new for us.
Not
This
right.
the last couple of years.
It is illegal, but the schools don't care.
They're above the law.
School starting before Labor Day. Junior high, huh? That you guys really enjoyed that.
Oh, I loved it. Absolutely
like
loved it.
more than high school?
Oh, by far.
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, just because that's when I first started getting some freedoms, right? Where I could just get on my bike and go wherever with some friends, and that's when I first got into my love of heavy metal and stuff like that. That was awesome. That was absolutely awesome.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed junior high, but nothing beats the chaos of high school.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying anything bad. I liked high school, too, but it was different, right? I was already kind of established in what I liked, but I was learning all this new stuff 6th through 8th grade.
High school, I feel like you had to also, figure out what you want to do in life, too.
No, you didn't.
Well, most people did.
Yeah, there was pressure for that,
There
too.
was.
Yeah.
It was
like what
school was a lot more
to.
difficult. Like 6th through 8th grade wasn't too difficult, but yes, more homework.
Yeah, grades actually mattered.
See, I took a different route, but I understand where you guys are coming from. I wish I would have had that mindset. I wish I would have been planning for my future, but I absolutely did zero planning for anything.
Well, when you
just
have
had
a
the
class of like 140 people, the teachers, they're on top of you a little more, right? They're not overwhelmed, so.
Well,
they're not missing much.
Yeah, they probably were on top of me once or twice about my future, and I just didn't care. So good for you guys for paying attention. I don't know. Would you say that it paid off at all?
No, not at all.
Oh, God. No. Yeah. Yeah, junior high was fun, but I just thought high school was, man, we just raised hell and had the time of our friggin' lives.
Oh, we had youth nights in middle school. Things would get nuts.
Youth nights.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's just like school dances, or
That was like our after-hours school dance that you had like once every 3 months. Everyone would just be bumping and grinding on each other, playing ping pong, eating
those were
pizza.
cool.
So you just talking about the school dance?
Yeah, middle school dance, I guess.
Yeah, that's what
but you could play basketball, you could play volleyball, you could go to this like hypnotist or magician. They'd have something like that.
I can't recall if we ever had little get-togethers like that.
No, we never did. It was just like the dance. That was kind of it.
Sure.
We didn't have AC at my middle school though, so I don't really miss that part.
Yeah,
that
we didn't
sucked.
either.
No, we didn't have air conditioning.
I don't think I ever did in any school. Until I got to college.
Yeah, I don't
I guess
remember.
I can't recall in high school.
I don't think we had air conditioning at the high school either.
Oh, we definitely did.
There was a church group that we used to hang out at, which made no sense for my friend group. But one of my pals, this was high school, one of my pals convinced us that there were babes that would go to this. I think it was once a week or something. Not that we went every time, but we would swing by now and again. There was this church group that hung out at our high school on like Wednesday nights or something, and this pal of mine convinced a group of us to swing by now and again because he said there were foxy ladies there. And that was an odd experience. We were completely unprepared to kind of like what Wapple was describing. You walk into the gym and you could play some hoops, or you could just hang out or listen to music, and suddenly everyone had to get in a circle and join hands and pray. We had no idea what we were doing. We had no idea. We had to fake it, and this was all to try to get ass. It was so pathetic. It was so pathetic. Then we got our stupid high school rock and roll band going, right? And this church group would allow high school rock bands to play there just to kill time. They're just looking for fun activities for kids to do that didn't involve drugs or alcohol. So they booked us, Cubby.
That's pretty cool.
It was our first ever
gig. I mean, back then, I remember it didn't matter what.
It was our first ever live gig. We were terrible, but here we were drinking in preparation to play at a church group show whose main goal was to keep kids away from alcohol and drugs. And we're drinking in the parking lot before the show.
Just tailgating it.
Did you open up with a song titled Satan or something?
See, it's funny you bring that up, because I didn't pay it, like everything in my life at that point, I just didn't pay attention to what was happening. So shortly before the gig, the guy who was our lead singer at the time, which is so stupid to even say it out loud like it was an official title. We were friggin' 16. None of us. I was the drummer, but I didn't even deserve to be called the drummer. You know what I mean? It was a stupid 16-year-old rock band. The singer said, well, we might have to clean up a little bit of our songs because... And I said, what are you talking about? We're going on in a half hour. How are we supposed to... We were playing Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses, like every group of idiots were playing in the spring of 1987. What are we supposed to do about that? What do you mean, clean up? He suddenly got nervous that, we were playing Love Gun by Kiss. He suddenly got nervous. Well, we can't say Love Gun. This is a... So he put these nerves on us. Look, I'm trying to drink over it, So then here comes the church group leader guy, who's a grown man, like 40. What songs are you guys playing? And my buddy, the singer, who's all of a sudden nervous that they're going to throw us out for being dirty, he says, we're playing a song called Fun Love instead of Love Gun. It was just so dumb. And we all finally collectively said, we can't alter the lyrics of these songs to make them sound like an after-school special now, dude. We just got to do it. And we did. And it wasn't very good. But it was fun. Yeah, this one's called Fun Love. Fun Love. Even the straightest-laced dude in the crowd's going to say, Fun Love? That sounds like it sucks.
The only people that are pumped are the moms that are in the church group helping out, volunteering.
Oh, yeah, some moms, they get into that church music, that's for sure.
Yeah, they do.
What are you going to
The ones with their arms up, straight up in the air, and they're, waving them.
Yeah, they're also putting on a dance show, too.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
If it was, there was a church service I was at where I really wanted to videotape it, but I thought that'd be grossly inappropriate. Because I've never seen a woman into the songs to the point where I thought, she's on something. There's no way that's just the Lord's grace that has entered her body. That's heroin or something. I don't know what was going on.
Where the power of Christ getting into her.
Yeah, that was more than the power of Christ compelling her.
You're talking
about... That was the power of methamphetamines.
Oh, God. You're talking about they're singing religious songs and the music overtakes her body?
Yeah, this was at a church service.
Sure.
I mean, it was kind of like, I was trying not to laugh. I thought, hey, I'm glad she's into it, but this is out of control.
You think maybe she was gooned up on something?
She seemed to be affected by something. Her kids were miserable, absolutely miserable.
She's sort of showing everyone else in the room that she's the most religious person on planet Earth?
Yeah, and
you think that was part of it? Like, let me show you how I'm more into this than any of the rest of you?
I don't know about that. Because, I'd seen her there several times. I'd never seen that before.
You got to go to a Commodores or a Lionel Richie concert. The music takes to women's bodies and makes them do things that they weren't capable of beforehand.
Yeah, it got her, that's for sure.
Yeah. Saw the Commodores, and I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, they were together? No, these were separate concerts. I went to go see the Commodores, and when they played the love songs, The women get on their feet, and it's like they're possessed by a spirit. And then Lionel did the same thing. And when he sings those, oh, God, they can't control themselves.
Those are hormones.
They're writhing. Yes, they're just writhing. All right, we got to get going. If you're a young person and you're getting ready for school, sucks to be you. That really sucks. You got to go before labeled, what do they call it?
Labor Day.
Labor Day. But I have fond memories. I do. Fond memories. What's going on today? What day is it today? Tuesday?
Yep.
We'll talk to Randy Shaver around 7:30. We got your chances at prizes. We'll get back to you here in a few minutes on the Half-Past Morning Show.
Also,
what?
Dick.
Huh?
Dick Bremer.
Yeah. Oh, Bremer? Yeah.
He'll join us.
Dick Bremer. We'll be right back.
Right now, text BOXER, BOXER, BOXER to 651-989-9393 for a chance to win tickets to the Gaslight Anthem. This will be taking place Friday, August 30th at the Fillmore. Prize provided by Live Nation. This keyword is good today, August 27th until midnight. Good luck.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930, now ran by his granddaughter Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
When you have sports mixed with your pop culture, along with humor and celebrity interviews, your earbuds are enjoying The Rich Eisen Show.
Good to see you, Bruce Feldman, the Big 12 landscape. I just know how Dion is, where he's coming from. His wins are measured differently. The question is, as you said, it's got to go from 4 to 8.
I think they can do that. It would be hard not to get better considering how bad they were on the offensive line last year. Now, their schedule actually feels harder this year than it was last year.
Search for The Rich Eisen Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, you know, a few minutes ago we got to talking about school. Starts today for some kids, tomorrow for others. It's bizarre to me that school is starting before Labor Day these days, but I'm going to have to get over it. School. How did Cartman say it on South Park?
School.
Yeah, we got to talking about school. We mentioned speech classes. They were a hell of a deal, speech classes. We even discussed the speaking issues some of the on-air staff on this program suffer from. March Madness, Jesus. Texted in. March Madness Jesus on the topic of speech classes. Legend has it, he says, that Chris Farley took a public speaking class at Marquette University over there in Wisconsin. The subject was how to get an audience's attention. And the legend is Chris Farley ran into the lecture hall. You can picture it, I'm sure, already. He started a lot of his bits on Saturday Night Live where he came charging onto the set, with his massive carcass. He apparently ran into the lecture hall, jumped on a table, slammed a beer, threw the empty can against the wall, and screamed, "That's how you get an audience attention." And he walked out.
Yeah.
That's so cool. They
he'd
give
have
me
mine.
chills.
He was one of the best.
You can just picture him doing it, too.
Yep.
Boy, I miss that guy.
Me, too.
All right, the stupid news is going to go like this here. Right from the get-go, this sounds like a hell of a deal to be involved in. A computer salesman is in trouble. He lost his gig, got canned, don't you know? And it says here that's because this feller took a squeege in a hotel lobby. But he says it was all because of this funny little bladder problem that he's got. That sounds like a touchy situation. The old boy goes by the name of Richard Becker, and he's 66 damn years old already. He's looking to sue the company that canned him. Lenovo Computers, have you heard of them?
No,
Oh, yeah.
sure have.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
He wants about $2 million. He says that is someone sifting through a plastic bag or something. What is that going on in the background?
I think it was ice in a drink.
Ice in a drink.
Was it Dana? Because his drinks are loud.
I have loud drinks sometimes.
What are you having?
Dr. Pepper.
Good.
And he iced it up?
Yeah. It's great. It's room temperature.
Dude wants about $2 million. Says they fired him for no good reason. And he got all fancy, or his lawyer did. He's accusing the company, I think I have it right again, Lenovo Computers. He's accusing the company of, quote, discrimination on the basis of disability. That's what he said. According to the lawsuit, Mr. Becker was returning to his hotel there in stupid Times Square, New York City. He was returning to his hotel after a work dinner back in February when he found himself, quote, overwhelmed by the need to squeege. He says he was forced to whiz in a hallway somewheres near the main lobby. A coworker saw Mr. Becker hanging it and reported him to Human Resources. That's how this whole pissy nightmare kicked in. There's no word here in the story, at least that I saw, Josh, that this guy was hammered, drunk, or anything. You know, he was returning from a work dinner. A lot of folks like to get pretty banged up at work. Doesn't say anything about the guy being intoxicated.
I wonder why the coworker narked. Because maybe this person has had some issues in the past. They're just sick of them. Because I wouldn't even think to be like, hey, Derek, our boss, Nick peed in a corner somewhere. I would never even consider something like that.
No, it could be a number of things, like you said. Maybe Mr. Becker is a prick, and someone's looking to get rid of him, and this is a perfect opportunity. Maybe this individual who called Human Resources is that person at work who wants to be the little hero, and maybe...
Or they're gunning for his gig. Maybe.
Right. Get a rung higher on the ladder. Yeah, a little kiss-ass move to the bosses by reporting someone.
I don't know, if you're the boss, wouldn't you go, you're kind of a tattletale.
Yeah.
Our employees shouldn't be doing that, but come on, man.
And the guy's got to pee.
A lot of bosses would look at it that way. At any rate, this Mr. Becker says he's been dealing with a chronic bladder condition since... near 10 years ago. He's under the treatment of a urologist, he says. The court filing said Lenovo colleagues and managers were aware of the problems that he has with his PP. So that's where they sit now. Mr. Becker and his pecker, they're suing. And like Josh was just saying, I just want you all to know that if I ever catch any of you hanging a leak in a hotel lobby, I'm more than likely going to keep it quiet, and I expect you to do the same for me.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we might say, hey, don't do that kind of thing at a work event here. Just don't do that. But yeah, I can't imagine ever turning you in for something like that.
But like you said, if I really don't like someone, I'm absolutely going to turn them in for that.
No doubt.
Oh, no, really, Josh, wouldn't you take that opportunity?
No.
Wait a minute. Think of some of the friggin' garbage piles we used to work with here in this.
That I have. There's one guy. It's one of the worst guys we've ever worked with. I caught him jacking off, and I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything publicly for a long, long time.
Oh, I would have absolutely told everybody in order to get rid of them. Absolutely.
I didn't want the guy to go off the deep end or whatever.
Oh, I want these people to go off the deep end. I think of it completely differently, but I understand where you're coming from because you're the nicest guy in the county.
Yeah, I wouldn't narc.
A coworker threatened to kill me once, and I didn't even say anything because I was worried if I did, he would actually kill me.
Yeah, we used to work with that guy, and he might have.
Yes, exactly.
How seriously did you take this? Well, obviously, it sounds like you took it pretty seriously. You really thought he was going to kill you?
Well, the guy did have big-time anger issues and would often talk about how he was a gun owner and brag about that. So, yeah, he did seem like the type of dude who would be capable of doing something like that.
That might have been one of the only times I would want to snitch. That's worrisome.
You know how you could have squashed this right away, Dana?
What's that?
Could have killed him first.
That's true.
Well, what was the context of this conversation?
It was off air. He was upset about something. I was trying to get him to just do his job, and He said, if you ever talk to me like that again, I will absolutely effing kill you.
What did you say in response to that?
I don't really recall. It's just kind of like, whoa, dude, relax, man.
Okay.
Come on. I mean, who talks like that?
Oh, that guy.
That guy?
Well, I know the guy you're talking about. I don't remember him ever showing that side to us.
I don't know if you know which one he's talking about.
Oh, I think I do. Can you write down the name?
Yeah. This isn't anybody you and I ever directly worked with.
Oh, it's not. No. I'm picturing someone different.
I know who you're picturing.
All right. Well, that's pretty freaky, and certainly I'd be concerned if I were you. But I would have said something. You don't talk to me like that. I mean, I guess I would have had something to say on the spot, I think. I get why you didn't say anything back, because you were probably shocked.
Yeah.
But I'm absolutely selling that sumbitch out. Absolutely.
Plus, he's super hot. So you're probably lost in his chiseled face.
His long, luscious locks.
You're right, Josh. I had the wrong guy in mind. But at any rate, I mean, give me a break. It's a friggin' radio show. And lives are being threatened.
I mean, the good news is he didn't kill me. So that was good.
Well, the other good news is nobody listened to that show or radio station. So if there was some tension on air, nobody would have noticed.
I mean, that could have happened on air, and nobody would have cared.
No, that's the thing. Like, nobody would believe that it really happened because nobody heard it.
Because the only person listening, if I'm remembering the situation you were in, the show you were on, the only person listening was your overbearing program director.
Probably, yeah.
And didn't that radio station last somewhere in the neck of a week and a half?
Basically, then we flip formats, yeah.
Oh, man, I'm thinking back to all these people, Josh, that you and I hated with every ounce of our being that we worked with over the years. God, I would have prayed for a situation where one of them was pissing on a wall in a hallway so I could have run immediately to human resources and said, gas this sumbitch. I would have taken that opportunity in a heartbeat.
I had mixed feelings about the guy that threatened to kill you, Dana. I loved him, and I thought he was such a talent, but he could be such a jerk. Luckily, I stayed out of his path.
Mm-hmm. Never got caught in that vortex?
No, when he was in a bad mood or whatever. But, man, that guy could be two different people.
Now that I know the guy you're talking about, we didn't have many interactions, but the ones we had, he was always very pleasant.
Yeah, he could be a great guy.
That's the thing. It was very Jekyll and Hyde with him.
Oh. Weird radio personalities with emotional problems.
Who would have thought?
I've heard of this kind of scene afore. I have. As we continue on here in the stupid news, this is interesting. First time I heard a story like this, I couldn't believe it was possible, but by damn it is, and I'm sure you've heard this kind of thing too, where a light pole or a utility pole ups and tips smooth over because it's been deteriorated by years and years of dog piss.
Yeah, one of our dogs likes to pee on, the structure of our deck. And I'm worried that that's going to fall over because of stories like this, where I'm hosing it off. And then the same dog, just the other day, I brought a hose cart out back, right, to water some stuff, and he came out and peed on that. So I don't know what's going on.
Keep an eye on that deck, and I know how you like to keep an eye on decks.
Heck yeah.
Give her a good look over in about 15 years.
I wonder how long it's going to take.
Well, from the story...
Because a buddy of mine built it, and he's not very good, despite the fact he owns a construction company.
If this is any kind of a gauge, Josh, it says here this neighborhood light pole or whatever the situation is, it's been about 15 years of constant dog urine. Dogs, you know how they do, walking down the street. They want to mark. It's taken about 15 years for this to just give way after all the dog whiz.
Yeah, you're right.
It freaking
hear
happens.
About that, right?
Yeah.
Like light poles and things like that.
In this case, it's a telephone junction box that's taken so much dog urine over the last 15 years that it's coming apart at the seams. Now, I'm having a hard time picturing where a telephone junction box would be located.
We've got one.
Oh,
in
yeah,
our yard,
do
yeah.
I can't picture what a telephone junction box looks like.
The one by us is just like a large rectangle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. At any rate, the local dogs love to spray it, and it's turned to garbage. Whoever's in charge of such things, and if I didn't mention this is in a neighborhood in San Francisco, I apologize. Whoever's in charge of taking care of things like that is trying to keep the junction box together. They're fighting a losing battle. It's crumbling. Says here several years ago, a light pole in a nearby area collapsed due to corrosion from dog urine. And no kidding, the local paper's got a quote from a guy in the neighborhood. A guy named Donnie. I die with you, Donnie. Donnie said, here's the quote, pee is pretty corrosive. And Donnie's right, isn't he?
He is, especially dog pee, it seems. The particular junction box here was one of those huge ones. It was really big, not like one you have in your yard like I have in mine.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a couple of lockers next to each other, that type of size.
I can picture it now. I can picture it now. So there you go. Annette, listen to me. If Donnie calls, tell him if it was going to be anyone, I'm glad it was him. I've been trying to get Josh to finally watch Donnie Brasco.
It's on my list. We watched a couple clips yesterday.
A wise guy's always right. Even when he's wrong, he's right. You've seen that movie, right, Ashley?
Yes.
We've talked about how sad it is when he says, if Donnie calls. Oh, you guys know how it is these days. We shoot each other any chance we get around here. Nobody fights anymore. They just start shooting. We're surrounded by idiots. Even the simplest things in life can go sideways now because there's usually some hard-on nearby that can't wait to shoot at somebody. 2 women's, it says here, 2 women's ended up in a fight. And then one pulled the gun when a dog adoption went bad over the weekend. A damn dog adoption. Not a hard street drug deal gone bad, a dog adoption.
Not even really a robbery. This is a new type of story for me.
Yeah, a company called the Rags to Riches Animal Rescue Group. They said they were meeting a potential dog owner, someone interested in adopting a dog. And I saw the video. It looked to me like a happy-ass little pug that was up for adoption. Cute little peckerhead. And it also, pugs are very friendly little bastards. It also appears that they were set up out on a sidewalk with the dog in a little pen so folks could just drive up and see the dog. That's what it appeared to be, if you ask me. Little did the pet adoption folks know the potential dog owner that stopped by was a lunatic moron. She picked up the dog and then she refused to give it back. And so when the pet adoption people said, hey, lady, we're going to need that dog back. You haven't adopted it yet. That was enough. That was all this lady could take. That was enough for the moron to go get a gun out of her car and start waving it around. For Christ's sake, the crazy lady was pressing the gun into the heads of the pet adoption people, putting the gun to their temples like an execution-style murder was about to happen.
She does not like to be told no, that is for sure.
I can't even explain anymore how tired I am of telling stories like this. I am so effing done with this. So someone in the neighborhood called 911. The effing stupid idiot drove away. The cops tracked her down. Someone recorded video. So I guess the good news is the police have this woman in custody. I'm just so done with.
Can you imagine? I mean, the lady's trying to rescue dogs, and set them up with good homes.
She's a good person.
That video is terrifying. I can't imagine what that would be like, seeing somebody walk around a vehicle like that with a gun over something so silly.
Well, props to you, Josh, for recently adopting a dog without having to pull a gun on somebody. That's big.
I didn't have my gun with me, Dana.
Otherwise, you might have.
Sucks.
It's just so frustrating. It's beyond explanation. As for the little pugski by the name of Bluey, they say she is safe and they will continue to look for. Oh, wait a minute. She's been shot.
Oh. No.
A quick update here. The dog has been shot by a man who was upset about the color of the sky. The dog's dead. It was shot dead. It's so much more fun to talk about the folks who are just dumb as balls without violence. Mark this effing guy down as the 1 billionth dude to go ahead and call the cops after his hooker stole his money. For whatever reason, piles and piles of dudes out there get ripped off by their hooker. Hey, it's part of it comes with the territory. Be prepared. Number one, your hooker might take your money and run.
I would certainly worry about that, right?
Yeah.
She shows up and all of a sudden 4 giant dudes show up right after her.
For whatever reason, there are just an incredible amount of men who get ripped off by their hooker, and then they don't think it through before calling the police. And my guess is they must think that robbery is so much more of a greater offense than prostitution that the law will overlook it.
I think that's part of it. And also, I'm sure some anger issues. Like they're so pissed, they're not even thinking. They're going to call 911. You can't take advantage of me.
Yep.
So if 4 big dudes do show up they're probably thinking they're going to rob you, right? When they show up at your house. Do you just offer sex to them and confuse the guys? Maybe you end up having a 5-some instead of getting robbed at the same time?
Do about any damn thing.
That's a good move.
Yeah, so they must just think, aside from the anger problems, they must just think that I've been robbed. They're going to overlook the prostitution thing, and morally that might be the right thing, but the cops don't usually see it that way. You know, the cops. John Law. A buddy of mine always referred to cops as John Law or John Wad. He'd be driving around town and see a cop car, and he'd say, "Hey, heads up. It's John Wad." Just for some added laughs, our dude here who called the cops after his hooker stole his monies, he's a high school gym teacher.
Oh.
Something that makes sense.
Yeah, he might lose a job.
His name is Rolando Ramos, and that's a straight-up sexy name. I'm surprised the guy has to pay for ass. Josh, with my looks and personality, if my name was Rolando Ramos, I'm just raking in ass.
I would think that you'd maybe you reach out to a lady who does that for a living, and she's like, you know what, it's on me. This would be an honor.
Are you considering my looks and personality?
Of course, yeah. I always do.
Right.
I brag about them.
If my name is Rolando Ramos, I'm just sitting there and waiting for the Foxy's ladies to come to me. But anyway.
Yeah, that's a cool name.
When the cop showed up, Rolando told them he tried to pay a prostitute for red-hot sexual services. He said the worker took his $100 and she just smooth ran away. He wanted the cops to track her down and get his $100 back. That's awesome. But instead, they arrested him for soliciting a prostitute. Well, damn.
I heard comedian Artie Lang, who's well known for enjoying prostitutes. He told a story once about how he makes sure he doesn't get robbed, where if he has to leave the room, he makes them clap their hands continuously so he knows that she's not going through his stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, like, if he has to go to the bathroom or something, or to go jump in the shower, make sure they clap their hands so she knows that, she's not going through his wallet or taking his stuff.
That's so clever that it's definitely someone who has a lot of experience with prostitutes to come up with something like that.
Who has probably been robbed by prostitutes before and needed a new strategy.
So the cops did find Rolando's shady sex worker. So he got arrested for soliciting. They did find the hooker who stole his Hondo. It's not clear here in the story if Rolando got his money back. The school put him on administrative leave pending the outcome of an investigation.
That's how they do it.
Damn, Rolando. That sucks, dude. Again, just being straight up dumb without violence. This is the way to go. Like this effing chump in Mississippi. A dude who accidentally texted a cop and asked the cop if he wanted to get together to smoke drugs.
The luck.
The Gulfport, Mississippi Police Department, I've been there. They shared this text exchange online between a random dude and one of the Gulfport cops who received the text message. The text conversation started off with the texter who thought he was texting a friend. Instead, he was texting a cop. Must have just had a wrong digit or two. The texter said, what are you up to, bruh? Right? The cop, who has no idea who's on the other end of the friggin' line, just responds by saying, chillin'.
Just vibing, dude.
Right away, I would think, this is a cop.
Oh, I would think it's my buddy.
Would you?
Oh, yeah.
I would think, oh, no, he's trying to be cool. This is a cop.
The dude said,
I say chillin'.
The cop responded with, chillin', HBU. Which I guess stands for, how about you?
That sounds like somebody who's chilling.
Yep.
The random person, who again thinks they're texting a friend, said, want to smoke? The cop got back by saying, I don't think I'm going to be able to smoke with you. And the dude said, bruh, we smoke all the time.
Yeah, why not, man?
Why not this time?
The cop then informed the total stranger, I think you have the wrong number. But the random dude was persistent. He texted back, bruh, stop capping. Don't be capping. That's when the cop took the opportunity to take a picture of himself holding his badge and sent it back to the random dude with the message, no cap. It ain't no cap. That's when the dude realized he had been asking a cop to smoke drugs with him. That sounds like they left the guy alone. They didn't pursue it any further. I think that's what I took away from it, Cubby.
Yeah,
Did you take
they
away?
didn't say anything about him getting in any trouble.
They didn't go chase the guy
nice.
down or whatever. They got bigger problems in Gulfport, Mississippi. Trust me.
I mean, I don't even know is that a crime to ask someone to do it? I mean, he said he has some, but
Good question. Yeah, maybe that's the end of the gimmick right there, where maybe it's okay to. Yeah, they didn't have enough proof to pursue or whatever. Yeah, or maybe they were just being nice. The police department there in Gulfport did offer some advice to the public on Facebook. They said, pro tip. Before you send the text, double check the number. Nothing like a wrong number to really spice up someone's day. They had fun with it. They had a good time. I like all the bras in there.
Mm-hmm.
I like someone who will text me some bras.
yeah, I love that word.
Or bras.
Sure.
Or Josh even embraced breh.
Yeah, breh is good.
Breh? Is that B-R-E-H?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, each one has its own place
Yes.
in the conversation.
And this here final, then we'll get out of your way. This one is difficult to understand. I mean, texting a wrong number is one thing. But this is for real? Drug dealers in Canada called the cops because their house had supposedly been broken into. And all the while, they have more effing illegal drugs in the house than has ever been seen before in effing Canadian history. How could they do that?
Maybe they were high.
Drugs all over this house. Drug dealers hanging out in it. Someone breaks in, they called the cops. Get over here. There was nobody in the drug house that said, all right, wait, fellas, we probably shouldn't call the police. We have an insane amount of drugs here in this house. I know it sucks that we got broken into. Donnie, I'm sorry they took your iPad, whatever the case may be. Shorzy, I know it sucks that they took your change jar, but we got to just suck it up because this house is more or less made of illegal drugs. Nobody thought to say that. So they busted themselves after calling in the burglary. Maybe they were all absolutely destroyed on drugs. That has to be the answer.
Never smoke your own product, dudes.
That's the creed.
Are you trying to tell the greatest yet dumbest group of Canadian drug dealers ever how to conduct their business? Walter?
Yeah, I kind of am.
I don't think you want to start that brawl.
I think they kind of messed up a little bit.
Well, they know they messed up a little bit. They just don't need to hear it from you. Jesus. Josh, do you want to see these guys crossing the border coming down here to get Wapple?
No, not at all. I don't want anything to happen to Wapple.
Shut it, dude.
What are they going to do? Talk about cricket?
It's kind of fun doing that, right? Just
Talk about cricket?
Yeah,
I don't know what he's...
I was looking. I didn't know there were.
Is that an Australian joke?
Yeah.
Okay. Do they?
Cricket?
I don't know enough about cricket.
Yeah.
Wapple, sorry.
Yeah, you should have gone with something more obvious with kangaroos or something.
Yeah, rugby.
No, that wouldn't have worked either. That's a Canadian
You guys need to get more culture.
It might be too creative. I picked up on what you were doing. It might be too creative because you got to know a whole bunch of stuff to understand that joke.
So here's what they had in the house: fentanyl, cocaine, meth rocks, stupid childish marijuana, and more than $500,000 in cash.
That's a hell of a platter there.
A little bit of everything.
You could have a party with that.
Here's what threw me at the end of the story. No arrests have been made yet. What the hell are they waiting on? What are they waiting on? That's good. That is good.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Another 0-2 to Olsen. That ball is hit high and deep to right field, and it is long gone. A 3-run bomb for Matt Olsen. 4 batters in. It's 4-0 Atlanta.
Yeah, we'll be hauling Dick Bremer into the mix in about a half hour. The mayor of Twins baseball, Dick Bremer. And we'll talk about the ball club. Things have started to become a little iffy.
Yeah, they have.
Mm-hmm. Iffy. Boys got pumped last night 10-6, and it wasn't even that close.
Bronco!
Wasn't even that friggin' close. Game 2 with Atlanta. The Atlanta Braves is tonight at 6:40 over there at Target Field, and we'll hope for some better results. But we haven't talked to Dick Bremer in a week. Love to get his take on Twins baseball. Did you see this cute video? Josh, you love cute videos.
Of course.
Salvador Perez of the Kansas City Chiefs. He just can't say no to a game no matter what level. Had a day off a few days ago. He's driving through a neighborhood in Kansas City, sees a bunch of ungrateful kids playing wiffle ball in someone's backyard. He pulls over and plays with them.
Can you imagine how cool that would be?
That guy's a pimp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's
That's so awesome.
Widely regarded as one of the nicest guys in the business. And he pulled over and asked the kids if he could play. And from what I understand, the kids at first thought, okay, are we about ready to be abducted? Right? They didn't recognize him at first out of his uniform. He's wearing street clothes. And the kids, at first, they were thinking, is this okay? Who the hell is this guy?
Well, can you imagine the parents, too, looking out the window and going, is that Salvador Perez?
Says he played 3 innings. He was struck out one time by one of the kids. Well, that wiffle ball can be tricky.
Yeah, it can.
But I thought that was a cute story, especially one, Josh, that you would enjoy.
Oh, yeah. We posted this video, didn't we?
I didn't get that one.
It was a couple days ago. You might have.
Oh, then yeah, it's up there, but I got to boost it to the top.
Yeah, go ahead with that. Like I said, Dick Bremer going to join us in about a half hour, and of course, Randy Shaver. Stick around. Josh's News is coming up next.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930, now ran by his granddaughter Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
When you have sports mixed with your pop culture, along with humor and celebrity interviews, your earbuds are enjoying The Rich Eisen Show.
Good to see you, Bruce Feldman, the Big 12 landscape. I just know how Dion is, where he's coming from. His wins are measured differently. The question is, as you said, it's got to go from 4 to 8.
I think they can do that. It would be hard not to get better considering how bad they were on the offensive line last year. Now, their schedule actually feels harder this year than it was last year.
Search for The Rich Eisen Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Pretty crazy. I mean, you don't really think about stuff like that happening in your own town, you know?
I've got 32 years in law enforcement, and I do have to say this is probably in the top 5 of the most bizarre things that I've ever seen.
A 40-year-old hardcore punk frontman went on a rampage across 2 California counties, terrorizing tourists and workers around Yosemite National Park, even claiming that a pregnant waitress's baby, quote, belongs to me. Anthony Melhalf, lead singer of the LA-based band Cancer Christ, starting his chaotic spree at a restaurant around 1:45 p.m. Wednesday. The man, who calls himself St. Anthony, walked in, confronted a pregnant waitress, and told her, "The spirits led me to you. Your baby belongs to me. What time's your break? I'll be waiting for you."
This guy smokes rock, doesn't he?
He was on something.
Yeah.
He then stole drinks and assaulted another employee before taking off for Yosemite National Park. After crashing his car, he bizarrely handed his shirt to a witness saying, "You'll want to keep this. I'm going to be famous."
Oh!
He then stole a bike and snuck through a restaurant's back door, stashed his hat and other items in a fridge, grabbed a knife, and threatened the staff.
Nothing more punk rock cubby than stealing a bicycle.
Yeah, he's gone full punk.
Mm-hmm.
Then things got even stranger. He stripped down to his underwear and told customers to leave or they'd be in danger. He then attacked and tried to kidnap the manager before stealing the manager's car. While driving down a highway, he got into a road rage incident with another vehicle, tailgating it, making aggressive gestures, and eventually ramming it. Sheriff's deputies chased him down until he crashed. He's facing a list of felony charges.
Well, welcome to the big time, Cancer Christ.
His band, Cancer Christ, mixes Christian, satanic, and reptilian imagery in a bizarre, sacrilegious way.
Their self-titled debut album, though, was very good.
You
to be
enjoyed
fair.
that
yeah,
one?
I did.
Police in Nebraska said they responded to a vape shop after a caller reported seeing something you don't expect to see on a casual afternoon. A man walking around with scissors stuck in his head, and he had no idea. When officers showed up just after 2 p.m., they found the 29-year-old man casually standing there. He explained he'd been in an argument with 33-year-old Alyssa Rogers and thought that she'd just given him a couple of punches. But someone helpfully pointed out he actually had scissors sticking straight out of his head.
I wish I could be that chill.
Me too. Hey, what's up, guys? What are you looking at? Do I have like a booger on my face? The man was whisked off to the hospital where doctors treated him for what was thankfully non-life-threatening injuries. Meanwhile, Rogers found herself in cuffs. That investigation is ongoing.
Dude, that'd be something to see. No blood. I mean, no blood trickling down his face.
Must not have been enough that he noticed.
Right.
Or it stabbed a part of his brain that makes you unaware that's going on. I don't know.
That's pretty awesome. That would have been more of a bit for our guy from Cancer Christ, don't you think? Running around town with a scissor sticking out of his skull.
The Minnesota State Fair is delaying the opening of the fairgrounds this morning as they assess damage from severe storms last night and earlier today.
They got to get out the squeegees and the mops.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated doing that when I worked
or something
there.
like that.
You did what now?
I would help squeegee the water.
Oh yeah, what's
down
wrong
the drains.
with that's fun.
Oh, it's exhausting.
In a statement, the State Fair said due to heavy winds and rain, the fairground opening is delayed to allow for damage assessment and debris cleanup. Usually it opens at 7 a.m. to the public. More information is expected to be provided in the coming hours. And it was a pretty big bummer for fairgoers as last night's strong storms resulted in canceled events and closed rides at the fair. The Happy Together Tour concert at the grandstand called off. All rides and ticketed attractions at the Mighty Midway, Kidway, and Adventure Park shut down for the night. The free stage shows also canceled. And while people already inside the fairgrounds were able to stay until regular closing, the fair had stopped admitting anyone else from the outside.
Maybe the Turtles can get up on stage with Ludacris and T-Pain tonight and do a couple numbers together.
Open up for them?
Yeah, I think that'd be good crowd, good mix.
My wife will be at that show. She's a Luda fan. She's even got a Luda sweatshirt.
That's awesome.
Hey, Cubby, do you think they still have to pay all the elderly people in the Happy Together tour, even though they didn't take the stage?
You know, there's probably something in the contract, right? Like an act of God. They showed up.
And the reason I bring it up is I was at I want to say this was BIR quite a few years ago. Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses was part of the show that night at the band shell. And other BIR people, tell me, was this the liquor or did this really happen? Where Steven Adler, I think his band was called Adler's Appetite, was scheduled to perform at BIR, and a horrible thunderstorm rolled through. I mean, we're all hiding in our campers and whatnot, and in the distance, I swear to God, I could hear Guns N' Roses. And the word was that whoever was running things said, hey, Steven Adler and Adler's Appetite, we're paying you to play. I don't care what the weather's doing. Go out there. And so I swear to God, we could hear it, and we were all talking, like, they're playing in this? So the rumor was, because we didn't go try to find out for ourselves, we didn't go drive down to witness this, but the rumor was that they were told We don't care what the hell the weather's doing. You're going out there and playing. We're paying you good money. What a drag that would be.
It's Military Appreciation Day at the State Fair. If you're active military, a veteran, or retired military, including spouses and kids, you can score discounted admission at the entrance gates whenever it opens. As Dana referenced earlier, Ludacris and T-Pain will bring attitude and auto-tune to the grandstand. The warm weather Sunday actually kept people away from the State Fair for its first Sunday of 2024. It was the lowest attended Sunday in 40 years.
It was?
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe because was it terribly warm on Sunday?
Yeah, it was
pretty gnarly.
Obviously not like yesterday, but it was pretty hot Sunday.
So the wife is going to the show tonight, huh, Josh?
She'll be there.
Who does she bring to these shows? Because it's never you.
No. She is bringing my daughter. She's going to go tonight.
I'll be damned.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, they'll like to go.
I will be damned.
A Minnesota wedding photographer hid a camera in a bridal suite, and surreptitiously recorded the bride getting ready for her nuptials.
Oh, boy.
And he caught her in her underwear with her breasts exposed.
I'll be...
Police learned of the video voyeurism when the creep's wife provided them with a thumb drive containing the video. She busted him. They also found other sexual conduct material, which wasn't further detailed. Upon examining the video, investigators were able to identify the bride, who was secretly filmed, as well as the wedding venue. The accused website boasts, "I've thrived within the industry these last few years thanks to my core beliefs in staying affordable while always delivering quality content and having an incredible support system of family and friends." Well, that support system may have crumbled. He's due in court next week.
Freak.
It's pretty scandalous stuff. It's like that wedding that Josh and I went to a number of years ago, where at the reception, the groom told everyone to look at the bottom of their dinner plate, and on the bottom of their dinner plate, it was pictures of his bride having sex with the best man. Oh, God, the scandal.
You've probably heard that story
Yeah, I'm
before.
sure you've heard that story,
Yeah.
Josh. And we were there with our friends Lamangelo and Arangelo.
They're cousins. A 21-year-old St. Paul man is accused of sexually exposing himself outside multiple homes, in some cases in front of children. Police were called August 2nd to the Summit University neighborhood on a report of a naked man showing himself through a woman's porch window as well as adjacent homes, and he attempted to break in and enter a couple of them. Several people were inside the homes, including multiple children as young as 3. After walking around and exposing himself through the glass doors on the porches, backyards, and windows of 2 adjacent homes, the suspect stood in front of a sliding glass door, asked the woman who was home for water, and continued to masturbate. The report details when police arrived at the building, an officer was approached by a resident and asked if they were there for, quote, penis man. The resident said penis man visits the apartment often and regularly exposes himself to them. The witness said the 21-year-old has exposed himself and urinated on the building that same day, as a matter of fact. Police were able to arrest Penis Man.
My God, what a nightmare. He doesn't deserve that cool nickname.
Penis Man?
No, he hasn't earned it.
The same suspect was arrested last June after following a woman around a Cub Foods while openly masturbating.
This guy, he's done.
Yeah, just lock him up.
He tried. It didn't work.
He lost the privilege of living around the rest of us.
Nope.
I'll argue that he hasn't earned it. He just doesn't deserve it.
There you go.
A Florida woman was arrested for walking around outside naked during a neighbor's birthday party over the weekend. The neighbor told deputies around 7 p.m. Sunday, 56-year-old Grace Sharp walked up naked to their chain-link fence in her birthday suit. She was reportedly waving around plastic doll legs before rubbing them on her private areas, including her vagina.
Oh, no.
The neighbors made the kids go inside at that point. A couple of the older ones probably protested. According to the report, when the neighbor told Sharp she was naked, she said, "I know, it's hot outside." She eventually went back inside her home, and deputies were called.
The old female pervert.
Yeah.
You don't hear about that very often.
No, it's usually heavily slanted towards dudes.
Yes, it is.
Like this guy.
Uh-oh.
On the evening of August 10th, Coffee County, Georgia, police were called about 7 p.m. for an unexpected wardrobe malfunction. Reports of a man naked in the laundromat. When they arrived, they found 55-year-old David Bennett, who apparently put off laundry day far too long, doing his laundry shirtless and, for good measure, bottomless too. Bennett didn't bother to explain his impromptu strip show, and by the time it was all said and done, 5 deputies arrived to handle that situation. He was eventually charged with indecent exposure and taken to jail, where they gave him a clean orange jumpsuit.
When's the last time any of us hung out at the neighborhood laundromat?
Never.
I think I've only been at a laundromat once.
Not too long ago.
It doesn't sound like much has changed.
No.
I loved going to the laundromat when I was a child. Like whenever we had to wash our comforters or whatever, my mom liked to use that big wash machine they got there, and they always had fun little arcade games, claw machines.
Oh, nice. The one by us was a dump.
Yeah, you must have been in some fancy neighborhood because the laundromats when I grew up, the reason I said it doesn't sound like much has changed, the laundromats that we used to have to go to once in a while when I was a kid, everyone there looked like they were minutes away, seconds away from exposing themselves.
And everyone was angry the one time.
Bad moods.
The 4th season premiere of Only Murders in the Building is happening today on Hulu and Disney+.
Woohoo!
A couple scheduling notes before we get to today's birthdays. You can join us Friday, September 20th on Paddleford Riverboats for drinks, free food from Lucky's 13 Pub, and live music from Gel, our annual fall cruise floating down the Mississippi. Tickets are available at 93x.com. And thank you to our friends at Anytime Bail Bonds who always come through for us on these things. And if you got a hankering for some fried foods on a stick, we'd love to meet you this Friday at the fair, scheduled to be there from 10 to noon, brought to you by Wolf River Electric. Former Twins slugger Jim Thome, 54 today.
Oh, powdered toast man.
Mm-hmm. Jesse on Breaking Bad. Aaron Paul, 45.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah, he seems to be. Alex Lifeson of Rush, 71.
Oh.
Old school WWF star Sergeant Slaughter, 76. Happy 2nd anniversary to Nikki from your hot hubby. Happy 36th year of wedded bliss to HBIC Sheezus from Beer Nuts Jesus, formerly the original Ass Man Jesus. We have the great honor this morning of introducing the newest rock star to the Brotherhood, Michael, born last night at 7. Happy 37th to sawed-off Candyman Jesus from Homegrown Jesus, listening this morning in Tennessee, and we thank you for that. That's 93X News.
All-time great broadcaster and Minnesota Twins ambassador, Dick Bremer.
That's a heck of a call right there. Oh, my goodness gracious. There it goes!
On the Half-Ass Morning Show.
And so we pick it up as a suspended game for game number 1. And now Danny Jansen, a month later, traded to the Boston Red Sox. And here he is behind the plate in a Red Sox uniform and ready to catch the rest of what was his at-bat. Tuning in for a bit of history here. Liner into center field, down for a base hit. So Jansen becomes the first man to get a knock today for the Red Sox. I guess that's fitting with the history he made earlier today. It's his day.
Hello, Randy Shaver.
Hello.
Oh, my goodness. It's just wonderful to hear from you again. And, Randy, help us welcome Dick Bremer to the program. Hello, Dick.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. It's our pleasure to talk to Mr. Bremer every Tuesday here on our program about Twins baseball. Now, the audio there, as we fired things up for the first time ever, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago when it was on the horizon. For the first time ever, a major leaguer played for both teams in the same game. It was all very confusing. It really was. The Danny Jansen situation. So in case you're completely foreign to this, back on June 26th, Danny was the catcher for the Toronto Blue Jays against the Boston Red Sox, but the game was suspended due to weather in the top of the 2nd inning while Danny was in the middle of an at-bat. The game was finally resumed last night, but by then, Danny had been traded to Boston, so he was behind the plate for the Red Sox when the game was restarted. He was technically catching his own at-bat. And that's the part that really threw me. I mean, even though I knew this was coming, when I saw the video last night, I was confused. Okay, there's a pinch hitter, obviously, since he's no longer a member of the Blue Jays. But then the fact that Jansen was behind the plate catching his own at-bat. I don't know, were the managers making this extra confusing on purpose? I don't know, but it happened. I got lost. I hope you guys had an easier time following it.
Well, it was a novelty to be sure, but I'm glad you brought that up. It's not like he was a right fielder. He's the catcher.
Right.
And, intimately involved in trying to, in the first phase of all of this, beat the Red Sox, and then in the second phase of it, trying to beat the Blue Jays. It was really, really weird.
It was weird. Absolutely. And you saw when Jansen's pinch hitter, Dalton Varsho is the kid's name, when he took the plate or got into the batter's box, there's Jansen behind the plate, so Varsho is pinch hitting for a guy. And you could see that they're both laughing.
Yeah.
They both totally grasp the ridiculousness of it all. So put them in the record books, Dick Bremer.
Yeah, and for years and years, the name that people mentioned when something almost as weird happened was Joel Youngblood, who played 2 games for 2 different teams in the same day. He was traded, I think, in the middle of the first game, and I forget I think it was the Cubs and the Mets, caught a flight, and then played a night game for his new team. So that was kind of an odd one, and that was about 30 years ago, I think.
Oh, B. Now, they say the scorecard and other items related to yesterday's game between the Blue Jays and Red Sox, this will be heading to the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, and they better have a pretty detailed write-up as to what the hell happened.
For generations to come.
You're going to see folks staring at that plaque for a half hour trying to figure this out.
How in the world did that guy play for both teams?
Mm-hmm. So how you been, Dick?
Doing fine. I'm parked outside of Glenwood, Minnesota right now, making another fishing trip to western Minnesota, and hoping that the Twins can find something to start winning ball games again.
Yeah, they're into kind of a rut. Okay, now I got to pounce on this. Glenwood, Minnesota now, Dick Bremer. I'm pretty familiar with that town. I married a Glenwood girl years ago, and the marriage went to hell.
So I shouldn't be looking for a plaque outside of town here.
They're trying to forget about me. No, we actually had I used to go to Glenwood all the time for Waterama, Dick Bremer.
Okay.
Their big summer festival, lakeside ballroom, the whole schmear. Oh, what a nice town that is.
It's a beautiful town, and it's just a beautiful part of the country, and I'm going to end up on a part of the country where I grew up a long, long time ago, and hopefully catching some fish.
We hope you slay them as well. And before we get to the Twins and their current situation, something that we meant to ask you about last week, Dick Bremer. Have you boys wrapped up your men's baseball league for the season yet? What's going on there?
No, we've got a single game coming up here in a couple of weeks. We got a little bit of a break. It's the antithesis of an all-star break, but we got a little bit of a break. We've got a single game coming up, and then a doubleheader, and then the playoffs start in about a month.
The playoffs? Oh, that's exciting. Okay, well, is your team qualified for the playoff?
I think they all are qualified. If you've got 9 bodies, you're able to play in the playoffs. So we're going to give it a shot here and see what happens. And it's really been fun. We were a couple of weeks ago in a little township in central Minnesota, St. Matthias, which is by Camp Ripley. And, boy, they treated us very, very well. We lost a couple of ball games, but afterwards there was a big cookout and beautiful field. And it's not even a town. It's a township. But they had a beautiful ballpark there. Just had a blast on I think it was a Saturday afternoon.
Sum up your season so far, if you don't mind, your personal performance on the field.
Well, I stunk on the mound. And I think my pitching days are over. I hit too many guys and didn't have a whole lot of swing and miss in my game on the mound. But I actually hit the ball pretty well so far this year. We don't want to talk too much about that because we got some games coming up yet, and I hope to get a few hits in the playoffs.
It's just the coolest thing. I think this is so cool because this is your first year, right, Dick, playing in this 60 and up thing?
Yeah, I had played over the years in the Twins fantasy camp, and that's a lot of baseball condensed into 1 week. But this is a different deal where we play, roughly, once a week. Sometimes doubleheaders. That's, of course, been a challenge for people in their 60s. But it's been fun. Met a lot of great people that will become friends, and we have one woman on our team. It's just been a blast, and I'm relieved to tell you that not many fans are in attendance because baseball is such a wonderful game, and I'd hate watching for people to watch us play for it to be a deterrent.
It would absolutely not be a deterrent. Randy Shaver, I know you're a pickleball dork now. I know you're gung ho about, but doesn't this kind of give you the itch when you hear Dick talk about this?
It does.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It does for me too.
Yeah, I wish I had the opportunity to maybe play it. It'd be fun.
But you have all the opportunity in the world right now.
Well, life's a little busier at this point.
Let's get
the thing that's really nice about it is there are no expectations, either from the participants themselves or teammates or anything like that. You just go, you have fun, you play. There's a lot of laughing and joking between the opposing ball players, teammates, and all that. A lot of us know each other from other baseball experiences, and it's just fun to play the game. You know, almost all of us were told at some point, you can't play baseball anymore. For me, it was my college coach. But just to be able to play again and just enjoy the game and maybe a cold beverage or two after the game, it's an awful lot of fun.
It's a beautiful thing. Cool. Is there a website? A couple listeners have texted. Is there a website where folks can look up a schedule?
There probably is. I have no idea what it is.
You old timer.
Yeah, I know. A website. What's that?
Yeah.
You know, is that on that internet thing?
All right. Well, what about the name of the league?
I don't even know that it has a name.
For Christ's sake.
Do you know where you play?
My team's name, the Angels, and they're based out of St. Michael. Our home games are in St. Michael or Albertville, one or the other. Okay. And I think we've got a game coming up on the 11th. I'm going to try to make that game.
Okay.
But it's, again, it's just fun, and we abuse the umpires, and they laugh at us and all that. It's just a really laid-back form of baseball, and it's fun to be able to say you can still play when you're in your 60s.
It sounds like a blast. We appreciate whatever information because our listeners have been texted in saying they want to come out and support your ball club. So there you
I
go.
Appreciate that. Again, we don't want people to be offended that the game is being played at that pace or with that level of play. But it's fun, and that's the whole point of playing games anyway.
Well, that's hell. No one's going to show up, and everyone will show up and love it, I'm sure. If our listeners want to pop by, I'm sure they'll love it. So the Twins, they are falling into a little bit of a rut here, and I'm starting to get concerned. They've lost 6 of their last 8. Last night, they got their doors blown off right from the get-go by the Atlanta Braves. They were able to get a couple innings of baseball in before that monsoon hit town, and then it was just all bad. Bailey Ober took a beating.
Yeah, Bailey Ober was due for a bad one, and he sure had one last night. And I watched how that unfolded, and it kind of occurred to me, same thing happened to the Twins, I think it was in August, in Atlanta last year. Joe Ryan gave up like 5 home runs in one of his starts down there, and you look at the people who were in that Braves lineup, and you're reminded that they're pretty good. There's a reason a lot of those guys won a World Series just a few years ago, and they took it to Joe Ryan last year in Atlanta, and they kind of did the same thing to Bailey Ober last night.
Yeah, it ended up 10-6, and it wasn't even that close. I mean, by the time they restarted the game, it was, 9-1 when they restarted? A real drag, and Bailey Ober's had such a great season. Like Dick said, I guess he was due for a clunker. His streak,
I think he had 11 consecutive games of 6 innings or more.
Yeah.
I mean, he was pitching great.
11 straight quality starts.
Yeah.
Before last night, but, I mean, the Braves had 4 runs before we recorded an out. I think right from the get-go, you had Whit Merrifield, who's still playing the game, went 5 for 5. The Braves are, like Dick said, they're a great ball club, despite a lot of their big guns being injured.
Right.
They're a great ball club, and the Twins got to suck it up. I mean, Kansas City and Cleveland, this is going to be a hell of a race. Last night, Kansas City beat Cleveland, so in a way...
beat them twice.
Beat them twice, right, in a doubleheader. The Twins actually gained ground, I believe, with the Royals beating the Guardians.
Well, they stayed.
They gained a half game on Cleveland, but they lost a game and a half to Kansas City. And who knows, maybe the team to watch out for in the division isn't Cleveland after all. It might be Kansas City. And what an incredible story that would be, losing 106 games last year. And it looks sustainable to me from what I've seen of the Royals. I mean, they look good. They've really improved their pitching. They got arguably the best player in the game right now, at least in the American League, that's not named Shohei Ohtani, and Bobby Witt Jr. I mean, this Kansas City team, not only are they good this year, they look like they could be good for a while.
And that's something. So tonight, Game 2 of the series with Atlanta, Simeon, Woods, Richardson. We got some names starting tonight. For the Twins, Simeon, Woods, Richardson, which is a mouthful. For the Braves, Spencer Schwellenbach.
Yeah.
Spencer Schwellenbach.
Young guy.
Wapple, I challenge you.
Schmellenbach.
To say, yeah, did you? What did he say?
He said Smellenbach.
No, that's what. That's not right. Yeah, that ought to be something. Seeing how this all plays out, but the Twins have been struggling lately. The bullpen's
they've had some bullpen issues and some injuries there, and of course Correa and Buxton have been out now for a while. But I've always thought, and we'll find out what happens here in the next couple games, that the injury that could really derail this Twins team is the Joe Ryan injury, because now you've got a couple of young guys making starts, Woods, Richardson, and then I think it's Festa tomorrow. And, if the Twins are going to catch Kansas City and Cleveland, they're going to have to do it. Talked with Joe a little bit. Twins had a charity function at Capitol Grill Sunday night, and I talked with Joe just a little bit. He was one of the celebrity waiters, and he's encouraged that he'll be okay and he'll be able to rejoin the team. But unless or until he does, it's going to be the young guys are going to have to, keep pitching the way that they've been pitching and giving the Twins a chance to win ball games.
Yep. Now, Steven Okert is a goner from the Twins bullpen, so the only remaining lefty is Caleb Thielbar. What can they do there?
Well, it's a little late to do much of anything there. I still think there's a chance that the bullpen will be augmented, if you will, with Louis Varland, but I think the biggest concern the Twins have in making that move is what we just talked about. The Twins have some young guys in that rotation, and you just don't know. Simeon Woods Richardson has been outstanding this year, but you don't know how he's going to do in September because he's never done it at this level in September. Same with Festa, same with Matthews. So if you make the commitment to move Varland to the bullpen because you need some help there, well, then you've pretty much taken him out of any possible starting role for September. So it's kind of a delicate situation, and I'm not sure which way the Twins are going to turn with it.
Yeah, they got their work cut out for them, no question. Hey, Dick Bremer, one of our listeners, found the website that shows all the scheduled games in your men's baseball league. Wonderful. The St. Michael Angels. It says right here you guys played the Crystal Cubs at one point or another. The Savage.
I wasn't there for that one, but yeah.
The Savage Grizzlies, were they a tough club?
I don't remember playing against them either.
I wouldn't want to play. Dick, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I've played in about half the games, and I just want to make sure that the website the listener is looking at is for the 60 and over group.
Okay.
So there's some different age brackets there.
Right. Did you play the Silver Snappers? That's on this list.
That sounds like a nice name for a senior baseball team, but I don't remember playing them either.
Maybe this is the wrong list.
Well,
this is the 50-plus.
Like he said, look for the 60-plus.
I'm on the 60-plus.
Yeah, so this is the wrong one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't recognize any of those names. So
when you played the Crystal team, were all your cars broken into after the ball game was over?
Yeah, and then you wonder why you're not held in high regard in small towns and all that. Every town I mention, you've got a story to tell, and you make it sound like you're not even welcome in that town anymore, and now you just added Crystal to the list.
They loved me in Glenwood. They did. We had a riot up there in Glenwood. What else baseball-related do we have here for Mr. Dick Bremer? Oh, boy. It seems like, to me, Ricky Henderson's name falls into play a lot when we're having baseball conversations, and I guess why wouldn't he? Because he's one of the all-time greats. 42 years ago today, in 1982, and I remember this very well, Ricky Henderson playing for the Oakland Athletics at the time, stole 4 bases in a game. My goodness. Just that is insane to me. But he broke Lou Brock's record of 118 steals in a season. He ended that season with 130 stolen bases. What's the average these days? I don't even know. But he finished that season with 130 stolen bases. 4 bases stolen in a game. Has anyone seen anything like that other than Ricky?
Just video games.
Yeah, video games.
Yeah. And now I'd be curious at the end of the year if there are any teams that have 130 steals in a season. Right. The stolen bases starting to come back a little bit, and they've changed the rules to encourage stolen bases, but to do 130 in one season, he was, in my tenure with the Twins in Major League Baseball, he was the most disruptive player, I think, that ever played the game. There were great players, of course. Twins had some, Ken Griffey Jr., Albert Pujols, but in terms of disrupting the game, I don't think anybody did it any better than Ricky Henderson. And in the National League, Tim Raines was kind of the same type of guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Disruptive. That's a great word. Yeah, he was a threat in so many different ways, Ricky Henderson. And an oddball, and we love to talk old Ricky Henderson stories on this program. It's probably my fault that his name comes up so often because I just found him to be such an interesting character.
Hey, Nick, just point of reference, Ellie De La Cruz for Cincinnati has 61 stolen bases to this point in the year. He leads the major leagues. Shohei is next with 40. Jesus. So here we are, almost September, and he has 61. So imagine the 130 by Ricky Henderson.
And imagine if a guy like Ellie De La Cruz, with his athletic ability, would have played in the 80s, played in the 70s.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Yeah, Ricky was a freak, man. He was. And I really did love watching him. So you say the leader right now is in the 60s, Ellie.
61.
And they're coming to town before the season is over, the Cincinnati Reds, right?
I think so.
That's very interesting to me. Who else? Disruptive. Now I'm trying to come up with other players who would fall into the category of disruptive. What do you got,
back
Randy
in the
Shea?
day, Lou Brock was that way for the Cardinals.
Well, there you go. There you go.
I mean, he led off the Cardinals' attack and was very disruptive.
Tim Raines is a good one. Very good one. Back to those Montreal Expo teams in the 80s with Gary Carter and Andre Dawson. And who am I missing from that group? I'm missing one other big gun from those Expos teams. Maybe I'm just thinking of a pitcher like Dave Steeb or something. So anyway, yeah, back in 82, 42 years ago today, Ricky.
The Reds will be in town September 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Nice little weekend series.
Well, see, it can't be a series in Cincinnati because I'm not welcome there.
Of course not.
Because of the incident.
You know what you did.
The incident. What else is going on, Dick Bremer? Would you say that the American League Central has the best pennant race going right now in Big League Baseball?
Well, I think so, just because of the teams that are involved. I think we've talked about this before. I didn't have Cleveland being any better than a 500 team this year. And for a good part of the year, they've had the best record in baseball, and now Kansas City's right on their heels. The Twins, even though they've been struggling, they still have a better record now than they had last year at this time. So you could argue that despite all the injuries and the bad week and a half that they've had, that they're better than they were last year. We'll see what happens in the balance of this Atlanta series. And maybe, I think you could point last year, the pivot point of the season was the sweep in Atlanta. And the Twins had a hour and a half long team meeting in the clubhouse after the final game in Atlanta, and it seemed to turn things around for the team. And while we don't want the Braves to sweep the Twins again, hopefully Correa and Buxton are soon to be back, and they'll get Ryan back. This is still a team that I think could be very formidable if they get to the playoffs, but they'll need to have a good September to do that.
Someone mentioned Ohtani during this conversation. By the way, Dick Bremer, Randy Shaver, anyone hear what happened to the baseball? Any word on that baseball yet? Ohtani's 40-40 home run baseball.
Haven't heard anything.
Okay. Aren't the Arizona Diamondbacks kind of coming up on the Dodgers' heels?
The National West is on fire right now. The Diamondbacks are 3 back. The Padres are 4 back. That division race is really heated up in the last couple of weeks, too.
Okay, good. I like to see it, and it'll make things that much more entertaining here in a few weeks. Dick Bremer, I'm sorry, but our listeners have taken a great interest this morning in your men's baseball league. They want to know.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, they want to know if stolen bases are allowed. While we were,
they are. Yes, they are. In fact, in the doubleheader sweep that we experienced against St. Matthias, they must have stolen 15 bases in the 2 games.
Oh wow.
And I got a few hits, and so I'm at first base, and the first baseman's holding me on the bag. I said, "Hey, don't worry about it. I haven't stolen a base since high school."
That's great. I remember.
Did they have one guy, Dick, that was stealing bases against you guys?
A few of them, and then they kept pinch running the guys who could run for the guys who couldn't. So the rules are a little lax. And there you see some steals standing up at second base and all that, and when we've got good catchers and all that, but it's as tough as it is to pitch 60 feet 6 inches, that throw from home plate to second base sometimes is a little tough too for a guy in his 60s.
Man, I can't imagine trying to steal a base. Did anyone else have this experience playing beer league softball where you know how it is? You last minute you're calling guys to fill a spot because folks can't show up. We had a guy show up for our beer league softball team, and he gets on first base, and the pitcher underhands the ball, and he took off for second. And the umpire immediately calls him out, and the guy says, "What's the problem? You can't steal bases in slow pitch softball." And the dude was shocked. We were roaring on the bench, just roaring. The dude's digging in, speaking of Ricky Henderson, he's digging his cleats in, and we're all wondering, what is he doing? Sure as hell, as soon as the pitch was delivered, he tries to steal second base.
And most of them, you're not even allowed to lead off at all.
I was going to say, you see someone leading off, too. It's like, what are you doing?
It's like, no, don't do it.
Get back there.
That was such great stuff. Here's a text that says, Billy Hamilton couldn't hit for crap, but I think he's top 5 all-time in steals.
Yeah, the Twins had him on their roster for a while, and I think the White Sox did the next year just because he could still run. He couldn't hit very well, but he could still steal bases. And since we spent so much time talking about stolen bases, let me tell you the weirdest stolen base I ever saw in the big leagues.
Oh, yeah.
And a long time ago, Twins had a good hitter. They were trying to find a place for him to play. He actually went to the All-Star game representing the Twins in 1984 by the name of Dave Engel. Anybody remember Dave Engel?
Of course.
Okay, so he's behind the plate, and he had a mental block, throwing the ball back to the mound. And he would lob the ball back to the mound. And against Toronto once, Alfredo Griffin was at second base, and he stole third on the throw back to the mound.
What was going on there? I mean, what was the problem? I mean, like you said, just a brain block. I mean,
right? Yeah. Well, Knobloch had it at second base with the Royals and Yankees. I guess is where it started. So they somebody ended up moving him to the outfield because he could never figure it out.
That's right. And that's what put him in left field, and the hot dogs were thrown at him.
Exactly. That's right.
Good God, that's great stuff.
History was made.
History was made that night. You had TK walking around trying to calm down the college kids, and forgive me, Bob Casey.
Bob Casey.
Hollering at the... Good God, I love that
I believe, and I won't try to do everyone, I think, who was around the Twins at that time, tried to do a Bob Casey imitation, and I won't try to do that. But Bob's quote, or what he said was, "This is a championship game, now cut that out."
Mm-hmm.
And you could see him kind of wagging his finger at the fans down in the left field corner.
Just magical stuff right there, Dick Bremer. All right, man, well, enjoy, hopefully, what will be a more successful 2 games remaining in this Atlanta Braves series with the Twins. We will talk to you next Tuesday, Mr. Bremer. We always appreciate having you on the program.
Well, now, are we going to do this next Tuesday? It's Labor Day. Aren't you guys taking time off?
Oh!
Just that Monday. We're off on Monday.
We
We're back
will
Tuesday.
be on air next Tuesday, Dick Bremer.
Well, then I'll be here, too.
We appreciate it very much. Very, very much. Have a good one, Dick.
Yep, you got it.
See you later. There you go. Oh, we got all kinds of people texting in now. Looking up Dick's men's baseball team, where they're playing, their overall record.
My mom even texted and said she wants to go to a game.
I really want to go to a game. And I'm kind of mad at myself for not already going.
I live up in this neck of this woods.
You do what now?
I live up in the St. Michael neck of the woods. I would love to see it.
Oh, yeah. You're getting there. I don't know.
I have my very first fast pitch game tonight, all girls teams.
Oh, wow.
Fast pitch.
Are you pitching?
No.
But didn't you pitch in high school, or am I?
I thought you were a catcher.
I was a catcher.
You were a
Yep.
catcher?
Catcher and third base.
Do you know where you're going to be put on the field tonight?
No, I am not sure yet, but I am very, very nervous.
First game.
Is that why you already started drinking?
Yep.
When's the last
Why
time
are you starting so late in the year?
Fall league.
It's a fall league.
League, and I missed the first 2 weeks because I had things going on.
When's the last time you played ball?
Actually, about 2 months ago, it was a slow pitch beer league. I subbed for somebody, and that was terrifying. But
what kind of a hitter are you?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah, do you hit for power?
I was always growing up. I always was usually about 4th or 5th in the lineup. So.
I picture you shooting it the other way.
What do you mean?
It's a baseball term.
Going opposite.
You go opposite. You hit it down and hard on the ground the other way and run it out.
Yeah, usually.
Okay. Well, that's exciting. Fast pitch. How fast are we talking here?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Just regular.
You don't sound prepared for this.
Did you just find out this morning you're playing, or
no?
It does sound like
I
you're
found
not
out.
too sure.
They haven't really talked about all the details over the group text or anything like that. They just say come and show
Or
up.
maybe they just didn't give you the details.
One night I played modified softball. Only one night I was asked to fill in. I played slow pitch for 20-some years. You know the story of the dozen division titles. We were an unstoppable force. Slow pitch. But once I was invited to be an extra in a modified league. For God's sake, this was out. Help me, people. Help me, brotherhood. Hollywood, Minnesota. For folks out in that neighborhood, you got a big ball field out there. Well, this is 20 years ago, but Hollywood, I swear to God, the place was called Hollywood. I want to say it might be out by St. Bonnie or something like that. Anyway.
There's a Hollywood in Carver County.
Ah, God, that must have been it. It was a long time ago, but modified. Do you guys know what that is?
No.
No.
Mm-hmm. The pitcher isn't allowed to windmill that sumbitch.
Yep.
He's allowed to bring his arm back about parallel to the ground.
Oh, yep.
You know what I'm saying? And whoom, whip it in like that. And it was... it's so long ago that I don't remember much other than some boys could really get it cooking. It was certainly a different approach than slow pitch, for Christ's sake.
My dad would tell me stories about when he played in unlimited arc leagues. So he said that they would, like the teams they were playing against, they would be sitting there warming up and they would be pitching over power lines and dropping them right in.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, he said it was unbelievable. He said his team definitely took the beer trophy that year.
Jeez, I can barely play slow pitch just because of I get so anxious, especially growing up playing fast pitch. I don't like to wait that long for the ball to get to me.
Unlimited arc. I mean, that must have taken forever to play a couple innings of.
Oh yeah. Well, my dad's team said they got struck out all the time, so it went pretty quick.
That doesn't sound like fun for me. That sounds kind of ridiculous, really. I mean, that's not baseball or softball. That's like a circus act, in my opinion. But at any rate, there you go. Oh, Hollywood Sports Complex in Watertown. That's what it was. Thank you, listeners. I knew they'd straighten me out. Hollywood Sports Complex in Watertown. That was a long damn time ago. Hey, Josh, did you want to talk about this stuff that you were passing me?
We don't have a lot of info on it yet, but so basically the gist is we were getting texts from people saying Channel 9 just showed our booth on the news, the 93X booth, and, they only cover us if something terrible happens. And apparently something happened where it sounds like our booth, at least the merch tent, took some damage. So I haven't seen it. I've been texting back and forth with our promotions director, and he's on his way out there right now just to see how bad it is. But, yeah, I guess, for anybody that is headed out to the fair, right now you can't get in. You can't even park. So they've been posting updates on their website. If you go to mnstatefair.org/updates, they'll tell you when they're going to let people in. But as of right now, they don't know when you can come in. They're assessing all the damage. But, yeah, we got just blasted with text saying Channel 9 specifically showed our booth.
So word is the storms last night might have kicked our booth's ass over there at the State Fair.
So, yeah, like I said, I've been texting with our promotions director, and he said he'll give us an update on, whether or not we're going to have anything available today. If people
Well, it was pretty rough last night. If you watch some of the video.
Oh, yeah.
I saw some things this morning and last night. It was a mess.
Those winds were crazy when it first started. Oh, really?
Yeah,
it was
so
pretty rough by us.
It was nuts.
Oh,
Fox 9 also tweeted out a video of the corn roast guys doing a synchronized belly flop in the rain last night.
I was telling Dana and Wapple watching that, I was like, oh my gosh, these kids are going to get sick.
I'll tell you what, the corn roast kids don't get sick. They get action. That's what happens.
I always thought that. They kind of look like they get action.
They get action, and they know that we know that they get action.
They've got that look. There's just something on their face that says, I just got action.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. We've been talking a lot about men's league baseball and softball, and Ashley's playing ball. It's fun. I wanted to ask softball dorks out there, is there a one-pitch league? Wapple just brought up some silly unlimited arch league. It sounds just silly. Here's the route. Is there a one-pitch league?
I heard about a softball tournament over the summer that did a one pitch.
Okay, see, that's where I'm going with this. Most beer league softball players, you play in these silly tournaments. Hopkins Raspberry Festival has this years ago. Again, things might have changed. It's been a long time since I played, but there'd be silly rules. Teams would wear costumes. You run the bases backwards. Most beer league softball players are familiar with that. There was one of these tournaments where they did bizarre little tricks just to keep it fun, where it was one pitch. You use your own pitcher, so that obviously, if Wapple's my opposition, you can't just throw it, 30 feet away from me. It's one pitch, and that's it. That's all you get. I always thought that's the friggin' league. If there is a league that focuses solely on one pitch, that's all you get. That's the way to go.
That's the pitch count.
You're in and out of there. You're done in a half hour.
The Brotherhood's saying there is one-pitch softball.
That's how you do it. I really liked it when we would play in the one-pitch game.
And people are saying you use your own pitcher.
Yeah, that's what I just. Yeah,
you did?
Yeah,
okay.
Which was great because your pitcher is going to try at least his best or her best to give you a good pitch.
Yeah, groove it.
Yeah, one pitch. None of this screwing around all night long. All right, Randy Shaver, we'll move on now. If you're a longtime listener of our program, you know we love this bit. Defector.com's Why Your Team Sucks NFL team preview. Earlier this year, we already covered the Vikings and the New York Jets. And the Jets, obviously, was just so we could pick on that insufferable gas bag Karen Rodgers. Today, the Vikings' top rival, the Green Bay Packers, are in the sights of Drew McGarry. Drew McGarry, a writer for Defector.com. The guy's very talented. Now, if you're not familiar with this routine, Drew McGarry puts these season previews together for every NFL team. It's obvious he pays very close attention to the games and the teams. He knows his stuff, but more than anything, the Why Your Team Sucks previews are mainly just a vehicle to take terrible cheap shots at the teams and their fans. So, the Green Bay Packers are up. I'll give you my favorite insults from the article, the ones that I am comfortable sharing with you on the radio, because Josh knows some of this stuff gets really nasty.
Oh, yeah, and that's some of his best work right there. Defector.com is where he's at now. He's awesome.
He works blue.
Yeah, he does. And he's so good at it.
Mm-hmm. Drew is a Vikings fan.
Yep.
So keep that in mind. Here we go. If you root for the Packers, you might take interest in this. And that's the way Drew starts this season preview. He says, if you root for the Packers, F you, I poop on your face. He says, despite all of that hopey, changey BS from last season, and what he's referencing is, Jordan Love didn't start out so good, but then, oh, God, they had a strong second. Didn't they win a playoff game, right?
Yep.
So despite all that hopey-changey BS, the Packers still went into San Francisco for the divisional round last year's playoff, took a 7-point lead into the fourth quarter, and then effing blew it. Wow. Big surprise that you guys can't beat the Niners when it matters. What if that's as close as you get this decade? What if that loss to the Niners was the end for you and not the beginning? Boy, that would be a shame. It would also be a real shame if the U.S. government selected your town for all future nuclear weapons testing. If I ever meet head coach Matt LaFleur, I'll shove a fork into his balls. Now, he says, I've never been to Lambeau, but I've been assured by people I trust that it is as advertised. Beautiful, pleasant, welcoming. Opposing fans can tailgate in Green Bay without fear. The cheeseheads next to them in the parking lot might even offer them a beer or a brat as a sign of goodwill. And that's everything football should be, right? Wrong.
Oh.
You go to a Niners game and you will be stabbed. You go to an Eagles game and half your section will be remanded to stadium jail before the half. You go to a Rams game and owner Stan Kroenke will personally hold you up by your ankles to shake the money out of you. These are the teams that win NFC championships. These are winners. You, Packers fans, are not. And the team, not winners. You've had 3 quarterbacks in 32 years and the second best record in the sport over that time, but only 2 Super Bowls to show for it. You know why? Because you're effing soft. You're too dumb to understand what success in the modern world looks like. This is football, not a sock hop. Wisconsin is the perfect state for people who find Indiana a little too cultured. I have to admit, I don't really know what he means by this last statement. Well, the second to the, I don't really know what he means by this, but he closes out by saying, Minneapolis is due north of Green Bay. Kiss my white ass. So there you go, the Green Bay Packers, why your team sucks season preview.
He's not wrong. Lambeau is a very inviting place. They're all very inviting fans.
It's so overrated. What does he mean by Minneapolis is due north of Green Bay? Is that like some kind of slang that I don't understand?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Because it's more east than it is. I'm just curious if I was missing out on some kind of a joke. So what the hell are the Vikings doing here, Randy Shaver? They signed Mo Ibrahim, and then they cut him.
Well, I don't think he was going to make the roster.
So he'll just be a practice squad guy?
Well, they haven't officially announced their practice squad yet either. So,
Golden Gopher, all-time great running back, Mo Ibrahim.
I thought I saw on Twitter that Jordan Addison had been suspended. Is that true?
Oh, that's very exciting. No, I don't know.
Excited.
Someone ought to look that up.
Yeah. I thought I saw where he was suspended 6 games, but I have not seen it confirmed on ESPN or in place.
I just heard Ashley chuckle when Randy said 6 games.
Because I made a bet with my boyfriend that he was going to get, and not that I want him to get injured or anything, but I just want to beat him in fantasy. Told him that he wasn't going to play within the first 4 weeks. Like something was going to happen.
Your boyfriend drafted Jordan Addison. You would like to see him fail.
Yes.
Your boyfriend and Jordan Addison for fantasy football purposes.
Yes.
Understandable.
I have not seen that confirmed, though, so I don't know if that's a true statement or not.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything written on it.
There's a Twitter account called NFC North News. They say, breaking news, the NFL has announced wide receiver Jordan Addison will be suspended 6 games.
All right.
I don't.
They tweeted that yesterday afternoon, and nobody's confirmed it. So.
I don't think that's legit.
I know Vikings
a few people are texting in saying it's not legit. It's a fake deal.
Okay.
Here's the thing. we'll find out eventually. I heard it was going to take a lot longer to sort this out. But at any rate, Vikings fans are going to be all butthurt about this when the suspension happens. But when you get so high or drunk or whatever it was to where you pass out behind the wheel in moving traffic, yeah, you're going to get what's coming to you. Mm-hmm. Someone ought to pick this kid up just for laughs. So Mo Ibrahim was cut by the... Someone ought to pick this kid up just for the fun of it. It says here, an NFL rookie with the best name in the NFL got released by the Las Vegas Raiders. He's a defensive back. That sounds like he had a good preseason, but for whatever reason, they're not ready to commit themselves to this defensive back yet, the Las Vegas Raiders. The kid with what they say is the best name in the NFL, he goes by Woo Governor. W-O-O, Governor, like Governor Jesse Ventura. Cute name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Says here his real first name is DeMarcus, but he goes by Woo. I wonder if it's Ric Flair related.
It might be. If he does make a team and he makes an interception, they've got to use the Ric Flair Woo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll beat it to death.
As part of the announcement that the interception was made.
You'll end up hating Ric Flair by the end of that ball game. Yeah, because the PA guy will just bury you. Bury you in woos. Oh, that's a good one. Woo Governor. It's always fun to read the interesting names.
Like General Booty.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's a good one. Ha Ha Clinton Dix.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Some folks like the name Jake Butt.
That's decent.
Some do.
I was like Jake Plummer. Thought that was a cool last name.
Some folks like T.J. Hushmanzada.
Ooh, I like that last name.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys know there's a... Maybe you have to look this guy up. I believe he's an active player in the NFL. The National Football League, Randy Shaver. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
And his name is Crap Fonzo.
I have not heard of him.
Craponzo Thorpe.
Yeah, Crap Fonzo. Is he an active player in the National Football League? Former player. Crap Fonzo. That sucks.
That was a tough childhood for this dude. Thankfully, he was good at sports.
Yeah. He had to be.
Looks like he hasn't played for the NFL since 2009.
His last action was the Omaha Nighthawks in 2010.
Well, crap, Fonzo. Hey, there's a video going around if you like this kind of garbage. But it's notable. A Denver Broncos fan got punched square in the jaw at a stupid preseason football game. In the concourse, the hallway of the stadium, whatever you want to call it. Who knows what these clowns were so upset about, and who cares? But in the video, dude gets smoked in the yap. He actually gets double-teamed by two guys dressed exactly alike. The video is almost an optical illusion, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah. I mean, that's so 2024, right? Two guys are going to attack the one guy.
And they're dressed exactly alike. It's like he was assaulted by the Wonder Twins. It's so bizarre. You got to see the video. So he gets punched in the yap, ends up on his back. But the reason why this is being talked about, because who cares? I'm so tired of these friggin' overgrown children who can't help but get in a stupid, usually really bad fist fight at ball games. I'm so tired. But the reason why this is notable is the dude gets dumped down onto his back, but he somehow doesn't spill a drop of his 16-ounce canned beer.
It's impressive.
And the theory going around godless social media is this guy's like a lot of us. If we're going to spend $20 for a can of beer, we're going to watch that thing like it's our child.
Yep.
We're going to protect that friggin' beer with our lives.
And it was funny. I mean, even though he went down, everyone's saying he won the fight.
He did. He did. Oh, and of course, the Wonder Twins had to punch the guy a couple times after he was already down, which, as Josh knows, that's what proves how tough you really are when you punch a guy as he's seated and trying to gather himself. Randy Shaver, like Alfred Anderson in 1989, the dude had a shoe come off.
I love Anderson.
But he never spilled a drop of that Steve Weiser. You got to watch the video, and you're going to go, hey, wait a minute. There's two guys? Which one's which? They're Who goes to a ball game? Josh, you and I go to a ball game. Aren't we going to do everything we can to not be dressed exactly alike?
I would think so. I think one of us would be disappointed if we showed up wearing the same thing.
These guys were... So there you go, Randy Shaver. We got to get the hell out of here. We talked about this earlier. But we all are in mourning over the passing of Sid Vicious. Sorry we didn't have time to get to it here, but we talked about it earlier this morning. Longtime WWF and WCW wrestler Sid Vicious passed away. He was only 63 years old. He had a battle with cancer, and that is a damn shame. I mean, the guy got to have his rivalries with some of the greatest of all time. Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Undertaker, Sting. That's a pretty solid career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For old Psycho Sid. Did you find that audio, Wapple? I thought there was some talk in the building that you found the audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me...
Before we go, okay, thank you for that. I mentioned earlier that Sid didn't always have the best of luck in promos. And so you have the audio where he screws up that line where he's trying to insult two members of D-Generation X, but instead he insults himself.
Yeah, it was Scott Hall and Nash that he was insulting.
See, Nash, you can wear any Halloween costume you want to, but you know and I know that you're only half the man that I am, and I have half the brain that you
do. God dang it. He almost made it.
Yeah.
You're so close.
It was funny because Nash was dressed up as Sid Vicious, too. So they were in the ring like that, making fun of him, and then he's like, hey.
You're half the man that I am, and I have half the brain that you do.
That'd be a good wrestling bit, wouldn't it? If somebody messes it up every single time.
Yeah.
They just start out so good and then fail at the end.
You know and I know that you're only half the man that I am, and I have half the brain that you do.
God dang it.
That you do.
Sucks when that happens.
You can just see it in his eyes. He's like, mess
dang
that
it. The boys are going to razz me backstage.
That's for sure.
God bless you, Sid Vicious, and thank you for the memories. Randy Shaver, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
See ya.
You're the best, I'll tell you. Isn't he the best? We'll be back in a couple minutes here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930, now ran by his granddaughter Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
We're all juggling life, a career, and trying to build a little bit of wealth. The Brown Ambition podcast with host Mandy and Tiffany the Budgetnista can help.
Let's talk about the financials behind locks. It can be quite pricey, but as your hair locks, it needs way less product. When I had my fro, it was way more costly as it relates to products because my fro was thirsty.
It's very expensive. Yeah.
Yes. I need the whole bottle. So.
What, a dime-sized portion of what?
Girl, the laughter.
Brown Ambition.
Wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
I thought I told you never to interrupt me while I'm working.
On 93X.
There we go. What is it? 8:33 on the Half-Assed Morning Show. Thanks for joining us. So our State Fair booth took a beating last night in the storm, huh?
Yeah, it sounds that way.
Yeah. We made the news.
Seen some pictures. It's like it looks like our booth is okay. It's our merch tent that took some damage, and it might have been this morning's storm that got us.
Oh, sure. Yeah, another one came ripping through town when we first cracked the mics. So is all the T-shirts and everything going to be damaged, discount prices?
I wonder. So I was mentioning earlier, I'm texting with our promotions director. He said he'll let us know. They're on their way out there right now.
Oh, God.
Here's a mud-soaked Wapple T-shirt for $5.
They'll be on the bargain rack soon enough, even if they're in perfect condition.
We'll see you Friday. Yeah.
I was going to mention, if you're on your way out to the fair, just know it's not open. You can't park. People are saying park and rides right now, even they're waiting there, so there's no projected time. I mean, people have texted in rumors on when it might be open, but they're assessing the damage from last night and this morning. So as of right now, I've been checking their website, the State Fair's website. It is still closed. That includes parking lots, so you can't go park according to.
Isn't that something?
Website.
Oh, I bet the traffic is a gangbang right now.
Yeah, and I guess there's trees down. People were texting saying they were over there.
Trees down on the fair.
Like around the Snelling area.
I've been around the block once or twice, Cubby, and I don't ever remember something like this afore.
Yeah, did it ever happen when you worked there, Ashley, that you remember?
No, nothing like this. I just remember torrential downpour one of the days, but that was more just fun.
Like we were saying last night, they shut it down. They shut down a lot of parts of the fair, and they weren't letting people in. The people that were there were allowed to stay. They weren't kicking people out. They weren't, and I don't even remember something like that.
No,
never heard of something like that.
Those were pretty wicked, and I guess this morning's were bad. I mean, people texting in. We missed it because we were here, but people are saying this morning was pretty bad too.
We could hear some of the thunder in the studio over here.
Yeah, it got kind of loud.
Sounds like a real pain in the ass over there at the State Fair.
This text says, isn't that good news that your merch was flying off the shelves? No, this is different. Yeah, that's quite literally flying off the shelves. That's bad.
Yeah, we dig when the merch is flying off the shelf, but only if suckers are giving us money in trade. So, hell of a deal. Hell of a deal. Yeah, this is... I don't ever remember something like this in the past where they had to keep the doors closed till they cleaned the joint up. But, yeah, that was a keeper last night and this morning. Hopefully everyone's doing all right.
Up at the crack of dawn, Jesus texted and said they actually used the Wapple shirts to mop up the water.
Oh, man.
All right. Good luck, everyone out there at the fair. You better get things cleaned up because we're coming out there on Friday. Better get your act together. Hey, Cubby.
Yes, sir.
Remember when all anyone wanted to talk about for about a 2-year stretch of time was their bucket list?
Oh, yeah, sure. They made the movie, and that was like everybody wanted to put together their bucket list.
That got annoying. It became a trendy phrase, a trendy conversation to have.
I never put one together.
No, you didn't, of course, because you're not an 8th grader on social media with your pants around your ankles. Yes, Wapple.
And you've done everything you need to do in life, Josh. You've accomplished a lot.
Yeah, it's not that I've really accomplished anything. It's I just have no aspirations for anything.
You're just content.
Yeah, I am content. That's always my fear. And people are like, well, what do you want to do? Like, if you could do anything in the world, what would it be? I have no answer. I'm fine. I'm fine just with this.
Order a pizza, maybe?
Yeah. What's up with this? This is good.
Well, the tables have turned on that whole bucket list gimmick. Now, folks have been talking about their anti-bucket list, which means things they vow to never repeat, as Chris Jericho would say, again. The anti-bucket list, things you vow to never repeat again. Oh, God, where do I even begin? Really, honestly, I've done so many regretful things that I never want to do again. But let me give you an idea where folks are going with this, and maybe you'll be able to play along. So the regular bucket list, things that I want to do before I... The anti-bucket list, things you vow to never repeat again. If you have any ideas, our number is 651-989-9393. Getting high on cough syrup.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Is that robo-tripping?
Yep.
That's what they call it. Has anybody here done that?
Yes, I have.
Well, what kind of high is that? How does it compare to like a marijuana or something like that?
It's almost like a kind of like a trip.
What does that mean?
I would define it as like a gross kind of high. Doesn't feel that wonderful. It's exactly. It's called robo tripping for a reason because it's exactly like that. Like your body, you almost like feel like you're moving like a robot.
Yeah, you can't like move your body so very good. Yeah,
what was
just off kilter?
What was lacking with the beer and the liquor and the marijuana where you felt the need to try this?
Yeah. That's a good question.
Were you seeking attention? What was
no money? You've done it so it's
no
cheaper?
money. Couldn't get weed and wasn't able because I was too young to get booze. So.
Yeah, but people always had cough syrup.
You guys had problems getting booze and whatnot when you were kids?
Every once in a while, I'd run into an issue. Yeah, everybody's busy or something.
All right,
and it was Eber. It was easier to get Robitussin or whatever.
Oh, yeah. It was just in people's pantries.
Yeah.
Or not pantries, but,
bathroom closet.
Medicine cabinet and stuff like that.
Getting high on cough syrup is the first entry here on the report of an anti-bucket list, things that people vow to never repeat again. This individual says they felt like they were dying. Getting married is on somebody's anti-bucket list. They never want to do that again. They say the third time will not be the charm.
A few people text that exact same thing in, that they're done getting married.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
He's on his third. Do you guys know somebody who's beat that number?
No.
Nope.
Well, no one in our age range. I know plenty of older people who have been married. I mean, there was a gal I used to drink with. She's passed on now. I think she was married 6 or 7 times. I know some.
All different people, or did she go back to one?
All different dudes. I know old folks, or now dead people, who were married 5, 6 times. 3, yeah, one of my best friends is on 3. But to be able to beat that from our generation, Josh, no, I'd have to make a few phone calls on that. That's pretty decent. By the time you're 52, 53 years old, you're on 3. What are you shooting for, Ashley?
Maybe like 4, 5. I like to overachieve.
Well, we believe in you.
Yeah, what about you, Dana?
I'm hoping just the 2, but you never know.
So when you guys break up, you're not going to get married a third time?
Probably not, no.
Things people vow to never repeat again. The hip term is the anti-bucket list. Here's a listener. I want a Jesus named Jesus. He says he never wants to work as a paramedic again. Driving 18 wheels is better.
I think that'd be a very difficult. Not that driving an 18-wheeler is easy, but just for different reasons. Being a paramedic, that's got to be tough.
You see some stuff.
Grover, before Wapple was born, Jesus said his sister-in-law is on number 8.
Whoa!
And she's only 52. That's a lot of marriages.
Oh, dang.
8 and 52. She's got to be hot.
She must be hot.
I mean, you can find. There's no way I could find 8 people that would want to marry me, no matter what.
Gargoyles don't get married 8 times.
Yeah.
Hot people do.
Yeah.
Here's something that I vow to never repeat again, according to the report I'm reading. Assuming that every coworker is a friend.
Are you okay?
You know what?
No, I'm reading someone else's.
I know. I'm asking, are they okay?
No, they're not okay. They assumed that a coworker was a friend. Oh, never make that assumption. Everyone's out to get you. Don't you know that? I made that mistake. I did.
Oh, it sounded to me like you were being sarcastic, but yeah, I was going to say I wasn't trying to be dark, but I think I should be less trusting than I am.
Yes.
I still fall for it a lot, but I do think I should be a little less trusting.
You fall in love quickly.
I do.
Not in the relationship-y aspect of your life. That's Wapple. Wapple falls in love too quickly with women. Josh falls in love with friendships, with
I trust people implicitly.
Yes, you do.
I mean,
and it comes back to bite you in your cute little ass.
It does at times.
Yes, it does.
I wouldn't let the couple of people that have ruined that for you, though, Josh, just like ruin it for everybody. Because I think that's I think that's an awesome trait to have. That you always look for the best in everybody. Right
Yeah, but
away.
it never works out for him. So I always encourage him to just stop making friends. Don't open yourself up, because it does. It ends up hurting my guy Cubby.
I'll still do it in a way, but I'm trying to be a little more cautious. I guess, you know what? More aware of signs. Usually I will ignore them.
Okay, this is a good one. Assume that every coworker is a friend. Yeah, that can be a problem. I wasn't being sarcastic. People are out to get your ass. Don't be fooled by their friendliness. I had a pal. I thought it was my pal in my early days of radio. We hung out. We did all kinds of things together because we were coworkers. I assumed he was my friend. And then, boy, did I find out what was going on behind the scenes. I think that's good advice. Don't assume your coworkers are your friends just because you see the bastards every day.
On liver number 2, Jesus, wonderful guy, met him a few times. He said, loaning somebody a lot of money, I always get burned.
That never ends well.
I was told by my dad. I remember my dad told me, hey, because my dad would get burned quite a bit by his own brothers, right? He's one of 8. And so he had said, if you ever loan somebody money, just have an attitude that you're expect not to get it back.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that does help. There was a particular guy that worked here that it's radio. You're not making a lot of money, but especially when you first start, you're making no money whatsoever. Absolutely none. And so there was a guy, I would give him money all the time. I didn't have any, but what I had, I would give him. He always needed something. He'd always be like, and it got to the point, and I liked him at the time.
He was one of those friggin' people that you made friends with.
Oh, yeah.
And oh, God.
I learned, but it got to the point where every time he saw me, again, we're friends, the first thing he'd say is, hey, dude, I'll get you your money. And I just didn't want to think about it anymore. So I just said, forget about it. It's a gift. Just keep it. So, yeah, my dad was right on that. So if I ever do, I just assume I'm probably not going to get this back.
Yeah. This is funny right here. I'm reading this exactly the way I feel. The listener wanted it presented, talking about the things you vow to never repeat again. Listener says, and then we got to take a break. Listener says, well, I did vow to never go see Motley Crue in concert again. But guess where I'm headed on Thursday night?
Just the defeat in the voice.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
I'm digging this over here, Cubby. I am. I like this conversation.
Yes,
I like this subject matter. We're talking about things that people vow to never repeat again. You did something or another, by God, you're not going back there. It's being referred to online by the hip people as the anti-bucket list as opposed to your regular bucket list. These are things that I want to do before I die. The anti-bucket list is, I'm not going near this garbage ever again because I tried it once and it sucked. Our listeners have been texting in. Well, right here. We love hearing what our listeners have to say on this or any other topic. But right here, I don't have a problem with this one. Your mom's chest hair Jesus texted in to say, I vow to never buy a lifted truck again. It's cool at first, but then you realize it's a massive waste of money. Look, pal, nobody wants to hear your problems. We're not here to listen to your problems, dude. But here are some other texts from our listeners. Something I'll never do again. This is Papa Taco Jesus. Meet random chicks on live links. What happened? Did something happen?
Yeah, I'd like to know more information on that.
I liked those commercials.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute now. I don't know what... Josh, I think you looked up what is live links.
Well, it looked like it was a phone line, but they have an online deal now, too. Is that what's going on?
When I saw the commercials, they just had the phone deal, but probably
Really?
with New Age times.
Yeah,
Calling-
it's like a live chat room type of situation.
That friggin' ad that I'd see at 3 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning
I
when I'm
remember
watching
those.
an old...
Bingo.
Yeah, the hot girl sitting on her bed.
Oh.
Do you want to chat with me
Oh
tonight?
my gosh, yes.
Their tops are barely hanging on.
Yep.
I never called that. I wanted to call that. What happened on live links, Papa Taco Jesus?
And then it's like they're having so much fun on the couch, just laughing away.
Oh yeah, giggling.
That's cool how it's just hot people that are on there putting their ads.
Right?
Roastmaster Jesus said he is never going to break up with a girl and then meet up with her just to talk. / get her pregnant and end up marrying her.
Son of a bitch bastard.
I think I'm done with that, he said.
I'm done with that.
Just one more time, they're having breakup sex and all of a sudden he knocks her up.
I mean, this is some of this is real easy. Drinking yourself sideways, getting married, things like that. But some of them, you got to think a little bit. And this is a great one. Never, ever, ever will I vacation with another couple again. Boy, does that sound like a nightmare.
I would never do that just from hearing other people's horror stories.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Never
I've heard the same, that it can be kind of rough.
You got to know the people really well.
Yep.
And he said, he or she, they just had to do everything together. Drove them crazy. That's a great one.
Right. Yeah, that would suck. Like, all right, I just kind of want to go off and do my own thing with the girlfriend.
So
Nope, there they are.
A buddy of mine, he's got travel friends, right? It's this couple that he and his wife, whenever they travel with them. And they've got it worked out where you guys go do your thing, we'll do your thing, and then we'll kind of meet up here and there. So that seems to be the way it works.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm imagining that this texter who said he'd never travel with another couple again, I'm guessing it was he and his significant other's first time doing something like that, and probably the other couple's first time, and they felt obligated to do everything. And eventually, you want to kill that other couple. You want to be soaked in their blood.
As soon as the door shuts, you're just talking mad trash about them.
Yep.
The Jesus, formerly known as stay-at-home dad Jesus, vowed to stop texting because we never read his texts.
Well, we got it done this time, didn't we?
See, we've made up, haven't we?
I'll never get back together with an ex if they had cheated. They will definitely do it again. No, they won't. No, they won't.
Magic playing machinist Jesus said, I'm never going to be a manager again. It was the worst 20 years of my life.
A manager?
I was a manager for 6 months, and I didn't enjoy it.
What were you
much.
managing?
I was the assistant program director.
So you're talking about here.
Part-time
Yeah, you
folks.
did not seem happy.
It wasn't for me. The only reason I took it is because some guy said, hey, you're old enough for a full-time job. I wasn't interested.
I didn't enjoy that stretch of time because I didn't see you much because you're sitting in an office like a dork talking to other dorks.
Oh, dude.
Usually shady scumbags from record companies and things like that.
And that's the thing. Like, there were certain parts of the job I liked, but, the guy that was working at the time was a total hard ass, so he'd want you to come down on some of these part-timers about stuff they already know. Like, hey, if somebody has 3 seconds of dead air, I don't need to call them on the hotline and let them know. They're very much aware and probably kicking themselves over. That kind of stuff drove me nuts.
Yeah, you were a manager. You didn't like it. And I didn't like it because you didn't come off very happy, and I want Cubby to be happy. What else is here? Things you vow to never, ever do again. Oh, I will never trust a car salesman. A car salesman. I'll never trust one at their word ever again, regardless if they are somebody I know.
The time I was screwed over royally once, and it was by one of my best friends when I was a little kid.
Oh, dang.
I ran into him, and I didn't know anything. It was the first time I had ever gone to a dealership to buy a car. I knew nothing about it.
You grew up with this individual.
I grew up with him, and I hadn't seen him in years. I mean, I moved when we were in 6th grade, and that's the last time I saw him until I think I was 24 when I bought this car. And I was so excited to see him, and it was great to catch up. And my insurance guy's like, he's looking over my stuff going, dude, you got screwed on this car purchase. And he had called, like, it was so bad, he called on my behalf. He's like, hey, I called the manager and told him you got messed up on this deal. And it was like a $200 a month difference. By the end of it, I had no idea what was going on. It was crazy.
What happened to your buddy? Did the manager
do
anything to him?
I have no idea. Huh. No clue what happened.
Dude, that's a shame.
I know.
Friggin' sleazy bastard.
And I left thinking, wow, that was so great running into him.
Great to catch up. What a good guy. He would never fleece me.
Life is so good, isn't it? Making
Taking advantage of what a nice guy you are. Taking advantage.
I should have went in there with somebody that knew what they were doing. And I was so pleased to see him. And I was like, wait, are you serious? It was that bad?
That just completely sucks and pisses me off. Okay, what else are people vowing to never, ever do again? It's the anti-bucket list. Bungee jumping.
I don't have the balls for that.
I don't understand people who do silly things like that. I did it, and I hated every second of it. Oh, I got to tell my bungee jump story, especially now. Here we are, smack dab in the middle of the Minnesota State Fair, which hopefully they open the doors soon enough, and hopefully
9 a.m.
Jesus Christ, that scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, it should be open right now.
9 a.m. Hopefully they get everything straightened out over there. So many, many, many years ago, when bungee jumping became wildly popular, I'm going to say mid-'90s, suddenly everybody and their mother had to bungee jump. Everywhere you went, there was a bungee set up at amusement parks, at malls, at maybe even car dealerships. It had to be there because people were so obsessed with it. So even the Minnesota State Fair had a bungee jump set up. And me and the Big Al are walking towards that part of the fair, and we see that someone has jumped, and they're unable to reel this poor bastard back in.
Oh, no.
He's hanging from his ankle. I don't know how many feet up in the air, but enough to kill the guy if he comes loose. He's hanging there. And now a massive crowd has gathered. And there's paramedics and there's firemen, and they're trying to sort things out. Now, it was a very hushed, kind of frightening vibe. Even though there was a large group of people surrounding this poor guy hanging upside down, nobody was saying much. You could even hear the fire department characters saying, okay, you're going to be okay. And the guy hanging upside down is saying, well, I'm starting to get some numbness in my left side. We'll get you some water up there. You could hear the conversation. Total hushed. Here comes a couple of shirtless hillbillies walking up the road. I, for whatever reason, took note of them. They, just like Al and I, are just walking up on the scene and figuring out what's going on. One of the shirtless hillbillies, beer in hand, walks up, sees the situation, and says louder than hell, "Cut the rope." God, I'll never friggin' forget that. Al and I had to bust out laughing. "Cut the rope," he says. And the whole crowd kind of went, "Oh, you insensitive son of a bitch." That guy was a friggin' rock star is what he was for saying that.
Candy Sheezus on the topic of on her anti-bucket list. She said, "I'll never sign for another wake surf boat. Everything costs a fortune. If my husband threatens to divorce me again for it, I don't care, LOL. He can live in the boat himself." A few people text in boat owner saying that exact same thing.
Oh, yeah, a lot of folks regret that friggin' boat purchase.
Yeah,
they do.
They definitely do.
All right, we got to get the hell going. Real quick, though, speaking of the fair and the troubles they're having getting things going after the storm last night and the storm this morning. Again, we wish them the best of luck. Got a text from, "I drive a Hyundai, but ride your dad's Sheezus." She's a little concerned about the grandstand show tonight going on as planned with, what's been going on at the fair. She says, "I better be able to shake my ass with someone's dad at the Luda concert tonight."
Oh, I know. If that's not going on, my wife will be very disappointed.
I think you'll get to see whoever Luda is.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. So, as Ashley yelled in our faces a couple seconds ago, the fair is open. Now, some park and rides supposedly are not going yet. The parking lots are open. Some vendors and attractions may be a little delayed. So just so you know, including our own booth. We had heard it blew over in the storm this morning. So I've been waiting for more information from our promotions director. I haven't seen anything yet, but our booth made the news for taking some damage.
All of our T-shirts blew all the way across Como.
Oh, man.
Now you can do the Byron joke, Wapple.
Yeah, now everything.
That's a callback to yesterday when you used the Byron joke at an inappropriate time. This would be an appropriate time.
I was just getting ready.
Okay.
So all of our T-shirts are gone. We don't know where they are.
No, we don't know what the hell's going on.
We don't know where they are. Wow.
What?
I'm setting you up for your stupid joke.
Forget it.
Yesterday, you threw the joke out when it made no sense. Now we're handing it to you on a silver platter.
Just forget it.
All right, we tried.
It's frustrating.
It is kind of frustrating sometimes.
Oh, everything blew down to Byron.
There it is.
Too late.
We did our best. Dana, we tried.
Yeah, we did.
Happy birthday to a man who doesn't need a tape measure to show you 6 inches. O-Town Carpenter, Jesus. Happy 31st.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.